Yo, what up, everybody? We live. Um, it's Jermaine, aka the underscore Jermaine, as you can see right there under you, right there. Uh, the underscore Jermaine, aka the free agent, because I'm still looking for another side hustle to write, but I may just do some other stuff. I don't know. Depending on how I'm feeling. We're waiting on Keyz. Keyz coming. He had some stuff he had to handle right quick. You know what I'm saying? Grown man business. But this is episode 26 of Sucio Sports, presented by our wonderful sponsors up there, Gel Blaster. I got the point right because I remember it's my left shoulder I'm supposed to point over. So there you go. We got a little bit to get into tonight. It's not going to be just run of the mill, run through it, okay, get it over with type of show. Y'all know we're gonna run our mouth, and it's probably gonna go 2 hours at least. But we're gonna try to bring y'all some entertainment, so on and so forth, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Um, but one of the things we wanted to get into tonight, whenever Keys get here, is we wanted to talk about like the NFL rules changes. Because it's been insane the way the competition committee has voted on some of these rules changes and whatnot. And I think the most here it goes. The one that's the most I'll say interesting is the new kickoff rule. Basically, if you go to Adam Schefter's tweets, um, it's from yesterday, March 26th, around 8:25 in the AM. If you also go to follow us on Twitter, it's at Sucio Sports. Sports spelled with a Z. That's SUCIOSPORTZ. You'll see that we quoted that tweet of Adam Schefter, and we put it out. Basically, the two opposing teams will line up 5 yards apart, all 10 guys. The only guys back will be the kicker for the kickoff team, of course, and the receiver for the receiving team. And it's another NFL topic. I see Robert Lytle. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right, from Black Sports Online. We got to get him on the show one day to go on some back and forth banter and whatnot, especially because he and I have been going back and forth about Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. So we'll get into that a little later. But the NFL kickoff rule, guys will line up 5 yards apart, all opposing teams, except the kicker and the return guy. Basically, what you're going to see is instead of them running full speed ahead of each other and then crashing into each other, they'll basically be right there in front of each other. They can't move until the ball is fielded, touched, what have you. If you kick it, there will be no surprise. There will be no more surprise onside kicks. You have to declare it. It's a bunch of different stuff like that. But basically, that kickoff rule is going to look a lot different. It's going to try to make the game a lot safer, but at the same time, keep kickoffs in the game itself. The one that Keyz and I are most likely going to disagree on, from what I can tell, because we try not to talk too much about these topics without being here on the pod. But the hip drop tackle has been banned. I myself, I'm not a proponent of it. I don't like it. I think that the more you make the players think on the field instead of just playing and reacting, you're going to get more injuries that way, because guys are just simply thinking instead of playing instinctually. And when you get a person to thinking instead of playing off of instinct, that can really create a dangerous situation that I don't think is something that we need to even go through, explore, or remotely try to deal with, or anything like that. So I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. Yes, there's been some injuries because of said hip drop tackle. However, I really feel like it's not as bad as people would make it seem. I really don't think so. Um, I really feel like there's going to be just I just don't think that it's the injuries caused by the hip drop tackle will not greatly diminish because they banned the tackle. And the injuries that were caused by it were not a direct result of another form of play or something that came into being. I just think that when you started penalizing the helmet to helmet or the leading with the crown of the helmet, you started making guys change the way they tackle. So now they figured out another way to tackle. So now you're banning that. You know, first it was the horse collar, then it was the helmet to helmet and leading with the helmet. Now it's the hip drop. You know, it's slowly and slowly progressing and progressing to a point where we're going to end up with damn near flag football. I mean, protecting the quarterbacks and stuff, I get it. Some of the block plays, I get it. I don't really like some of the way that things like pass interference and things like that, or holding, or certain other calls are officiated, because it's a lot of the times it's very, very, very subjective. Um, and I don't feel as though referees are fully equipped and trained to call it as consistent as they should. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I believe Keyz was a proponent of it because he felt like it's something that causes, that particular tackle. They did say results in about 25 times rate of injury as a typical tackle. But here's the thing, and this is how they called it, and this is a direct quote. This is the language the NFL used to define the hip drop tackle in the new rule. Okay, in the rule book, it actually states it is a foul if the players uses the following technique to bring a runner down to the ground. A, grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms. And B, unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs or leg at or below the knee. So basically what they're trying to say is if you wrap someone up and you just kind of go to the ground and you kind of weigh them down and you end up trapping their legs underneath them or underneath you or landing on them, what have you, excuse me, that's a hip drop tackle, a hip swivel tackle, and that's when they'll hit you with the 15-yard. Me myself personally, um I'm not a small person, so if I was still trying to play tackle football or something today or at my size, what have you, it'd probably be difficult for somebody to bring me down. Would I be upset if they was to bring me down like that and I got hurt? Yes, I would. However, just understanding the game and in the way it's being played now, I have to realize that there's only so much a defender can do to try to tackle you without getting penalized. And again, I go back to the more you make these guys think too much instead of just playing off their natural instincts, that's when you'll run into issues. And that's when I think you'll see more guys getting hurt. And trying to take away this one play, this one tackle, or what have you, it's going to be something that I don't think is going to result in a dramatic drop in injuries like they're thinking. And I also think this is going to give way to the next form of tackling that may be presented as dangerous or something like that. Again, just speaking for my brother Keyz, he does not like the rule. I'm sorry, he likes the rule. He's in favor of it. He thinks that it's way too many injuries and whatnot that have been caused by it. I remember he specifically pointed out Tony Pollard and Kenyon Drake, because Kenyon Drake spoke loudly in profound support of the rule, and I know he pointed to Kenyon Drake's injury, Tony Pollard, and a couple other guys. He pointed to their injuries from the hip drop, hip swivel tackle. So um, I know like he's not here to speak on it and give his point of view, but I know we were on opposing sides of that. So it's just one of those things where we went back and forth about it. We're just like, you know what? We're gonna agree to disagree. You feel your way, I feel my way. Let's just see how it plays out and see what happens. Other rule changes that are significant. The trade deadline will now be moved to week 9 as opposed to week 8. Given the simple fact that the league has 18 weeks now because you have 17 games, each team still gets only one off week. Um, you needed to move it closer to the middle of the season as opposed to just before the midpoint of the season. To me, I think they should have moved it back a little bit further, maybe week 10 or 11, simply because when you add an extra regular season game, you take away a preseason game. You still have the Thursday night games, and towards the end of the season, you have some Saturday games, and then now they're even going to talk about playing Wednesday games and whatnot. You already have Monday night games, so it's like you're all damn near playing a game of football practice or something damn near every day of the week. Guys need rest, guys need bodies and whatnot. So I just think that they need to push it back a little bit further. Coaches will get a third challenge now. No longer will you have to win your first 2. If you win one of your first 2 challenges, just one, you'll get a third. It says, yeah, now they only have to win one of the first 2 to be awarded a third. Enforcement of fouls on change of possession plays. During a play that results in a possession change, if fouls are committed by both teams, any major offensive fouls like unnecessary roughness that were committed before the possession change will now be enforced. So basically what they're saying is like, let's say your quarterback throws an interception. One of your linemen, face masks a guy, illegal hands to the face, we'll say. That penalty will now be enforced instead of being ignored like it used to be. There's some changes to replay. The replay assistant will now be allowed to correct objectively incorrect calls for intentional grounding and roughing the passer. Basically, they can kind of make a suggestion and overturn something that the ref isn't seeing. Replay review will be allowed when there is clear and obvious visual evidence that the game clock expired before any snap. This is one that's huge because there's been too many times where what up, Dre? Where it's a second or two when the play clock has expired. And the snap goes off and the play goes off and there's no penalty call. Happens way too often and it's way too obvious of a penalty because there's play clocks in each end zone. So everybody has it available to them. And then there's play clocks that are up in the stadiums and whatnot that you can see those as well. So Coffee and Kicks, what up? So you see that, and it's something that happens, I would say, if I'm watching a game at least once or twice a game. Once or twice every game, I'll see this penalty not be called. And it's something that it's a small thing that just needs to be enforced, basically. That's one of them. What else do we have? The ruling of passer down by contact or out of bounds before throwing a pass is now a reviewable play. Sorry, I just had to send this message back to my guy because that's it just sidebar real quick since we talking NFL. So if it wasn't for Craig Shelton kind of showing me some stuff, but really also Lance Zierlein. You may recognize the name because he does a lot of stuff for NFL Network, NFL.com with their draft coverage and whatnot. He writes all of their draft profiles. So if you're on NFL.com and you're reading a draft profile, it was written by Lance. He's been a tremendous help as far as helping me identify different stuff when I'm watching games, films, certain things like that. Um, Between him, my former radio mentor who passed away a couple years ago, Craig Shelton, rest in peace, as well as my good buddy Stanford Rout, who retired. And Stan and I got cool because Craig and I used to do a show together on Tuesday nights on ESPN 97.5 here in Houston. And between those three guys, they really showed me a lot and taught me a lot about watching film and what to watch for, different techniques and what scouts look for and different things like that. So if you hear me talking about football and explaining things and saying this is what I see or this is what I know, whether it's a contract, a play, schemes, whatever it is, it's because I talk to football people, not just any football people, but I talk to real live football people who know the game uh, on an intimate level, infinitely light years beyond what a lot of most people can comprehend. And for some of those guys to say, hey, you know what you're talking about, or you're really good at this, or you know what you're doing, or yes, blah, 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 like that's all the validation I need. So if I get to talking about football and I start to sound kind of arrogant or what have you, that's why. It's because I'm talking to people who are high level, people in the media who've played the game, who are in positions to influence the game still, what have you. If I'm talking to these people and they're telling me that I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm looking at, it ain't nothing that a normal fan or whoever is going to tell me that's going to knock me off my pivot and make me think that I don't know what I'm talking about. I will disengage or not engage at all before I even get myself into that kind of discussion and let myself believe that you are going to tell me that you know more of what you're talking about than I do. I'll just leave it alone. But leading into that, like I have been watching, it was an opinion. I made sure I wanted to bring it up, kind of transition into the next NFL topic before we get off the NFL real quick. But I had been when I was working for Death Valley Insider, LSU's rival site, earlier this football season, I had to watch the games and keep track of things, practice, all that kind of stuff. We had a guy that would cover practice and do post game sound from practice and whatnot. So, and besides being, from Louisiana, New Orleans, LSU fan, like when I'm working and I'm very subjective and I will rip you to shreds. I will give you your flowers. It just depends on how you perform. It don't matter if I'm a fan or not. That ain't got nothing to do with it. But I would watch Malik Neighbors every game. I would see what he was doing preseason. I would see the talk around him, the work ethic, so on and so forth. So I got a chance to really see him and kind of know him from afar, how he plays, so on and so forth. Robert Lytle from Black Sports Online, he, I believe, an Ohio State alum or an Ohio State fan, and he, of course, is going to be a Marvin Harrison Jr. Guy. Consensus number one wide receiver, and like I even thought, coming into the season, like that guy could have went, top 5, top 10 last year if he would have came out, but he came back. So we were going back and forth and we were talking about I thought that when Lance said he thinks that Malik Neighbors could be drafted first, he said this back in February. I wasn't quite sure when I first heard LZ say that. And sometimes LZ will have wild takes and stuff. And yes, people will rip him to shreds when he puts out his mock drafts, and guys will, bookmark and save when he talked about them in their draft profiles, so on and so forth. But he takes it all in stride, and if you listen to his morning show here in Houston, like you'll know, like he'll joke about it, he laughs about it, he doesn't mind it at all. He takes it all. He has thick skin most of the time. Like we like to mess with him, but he said he wouldn't be surprised if Neighbors was the first wide receiver drafted in this year's draft. People lost their ever-loving minds and called him everything but a child of God. Thought he was crazy. I was on that boat until I started really looking at things. And I said, okay, Harrison Jr. has the size and pedigree, and he's been a figure in the public eye, like as the top wide receiver in college football for the last 2 years. Whereas Neighbors was pretty good the previous year, and this year he really showed out. But nobody ever thought of Malik Neighbors as, quote unquote, challenging Marvin Harrison Jr. for that top wide receiver spot. I went back and I started looking at some old notes. And I also went back and started looking at some different game film plays and different things like that. And then I would look at, Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. The thing that really stuck out to me was the fact that Neighbors will make something happen after the catch. Making something happen after the catch is a huge deal right now in the NFL, simply because of the RPO game, where you normally will get a short slant, a drag, or something quick that you have to throw, run, and catch. The bubble screens, the wide receiver screens, the jet sweeps, and different things like that. Like, wide receivers are now expected to do a whole lot more than just line up outside and or maybe line up inside. Like, you have to be able to play all over, and you have to run a complete route tree. Neighbors he makes people miss, and he has the speed to take off and leave you if he gets the ball in his hands in open space. I saw some of that from Harrison, but not that kind of like get up and go separation, leave you in the dust type of speed. He's fast, especially for his size, but I just believe Neighbors is faster. Coupled with the fact that I feel like Neighbors can make more happen after the catch. I don't know if it was just his past season, because he didn't have the kind of quarterback play that he had previously with CJ Stroud. But I just felt like he relied more on his size and his frame, being 6'3", 6'4", about 205, 210, what have you, as opposed to his ability. And he has tremendous otherworldly ability. I mean, he's Marvin Harrison's kid. Like, he's going to have some route running. But all that being said, I just think that Neighbors, his speed, athleticism, and his dynamic playmaking ability after the catch, and the fact that he chose to at least work out at his pro day today, where he showed off about a 4.35 in the 40-inch or 42-inch vertical, I'm sorry, and just basically showed that, yes, he does have the athletic skills in order to compete at the next level, on a very high level. So Harrison Jr. chose not to work out at the combine nor at his pro day. Now, putting up all this film is going to give him a pass, and him being considered the consistent best wide receiver in college football the last 2 years is going to give him a lot of a pass as well. I just felt that if there is a chance that some team may come out there, and there's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Keyz. I just felt that some team would come out there and feel that Neighbors was going to be a bigger chance to take on him, as opposed to taking on Marvin Harrison Jr. And I didn't believe Lance at first until I started watching film, comparing the two, and that's when I started saying it myself. People called me crazy. He and I go back and forth. He was like, nah, I don't like Neighbors' route running ability. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Sometimes he can't really get off the jam, and he don't always run his routes right. But a lot of what they do in that LSU offense is getting into spaces, running behind defenders, and creating spaces and whatnot, especially when you're playing against a zone. And sometimes you just have to run and sit in the zone. Some of that can be coached by watching film and saying specifically what you want in a route run or an offense or what have you. Some of that can be coached. But a lot of what Neighbors, to me, deficiencies are, they can be coached. You can't make Harrison Jr. faster, and you can't make him want it more a lot of the times. Not saying that he doesn't. It's just that it's not the greatest of looks when you choose not to work out at your combine or the pro day. So we went back and forth. Today, Neighbors has his pro day, wows everybody. Adam Schefter puts out a tweet and says, um, some NFL scouts think that Neighbors could go first as the wide receiver, could go as the first wide receiver taken off the board. I saw that and I was just like, wow. Now everybody's going to run with this and say that this is going to be the thing. This is the new thing to talk about. And it's like, yeah, but one of the main people who studies all this shit said it back in February. Everybody laughed at it. I didn't believe him at first, my damn self. I did my research and you know what? Lance may be on to something here. I said, nah, you crazy. You tripping. Schefter says it, it's gospel. All of a sudden, it's gospel. It has to be true because Adam Schefter just tweeted it out. And it's like, you hear from an NFL insider who talks to these scouts and GMs and front office people and whatnot. And it's like, you believe it because you believe anything this guy says. He can say the sky is purple and people will say, fuck it. Schefter said the sky is purple. The motherfucker gotta be purple. Gotta be purple.
It's
I
Schefter.
don't have that following or platform. I'm expecting people not to believe me or agree with me. I'm used to people doubting me and telling me I'm going to be wrong. And then when I'm right, I just be like, I told you, dumbass, you didn't believe me. You didn't listen. But when people do that to somebody like Lance, I just be like, now, I've literally seen this dude spend 12 hours a day in his office watching film. Like, I know I've seen it happen. I know the work he puts in. When he said something like that, it's not just somebody saying it for clicks or views. He's saying it because he legit puts in the work to study this and talks to different people and figures it out. Hey, don't be surprised if this happens. Now, don't get me wrong. He may put out a mock draft and everybody may rip him to shreds because he'll have some crazy person going high or too low or whatever. That's just his opinion and how he feels. And I've always told people this. Draft experts, quote unquote, aren't really like going to predict exactly what's going to happen. What's up, Sloan? They're not going to predict exactly what's going to happen in the draft. They're just giving you their projections based off the analysis and the homework that they've done on these type of things.
Exactly.
They cannot tell you exactly how it's going to look. They can't. With that being said, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Keyz is in the building. Keyz did his own mock draft today. And I purposely stayed away from it to look at it while we live on the show so that way I could give y'all my live reaction to it.
Before that, I agree with what you were saying. I was watching before I came in. I've always liked Neighbors. I think Neighbors is real good. He's had a great career at LSU. Amazing pro day today. I watched back a lot of the highlights. I don't think it hurts Marvin Harrison not working out.
Okay.
I think, and we see this every year with some players that don't, because they're like, I mean, shit, look what the fuck I just did for 3-4 years. Like, y'all saw what I was doing on Saturdays. That's a lot of players. I think that's with him. We know what we're getting. I don't think a pro day is going to change any of that. Like, you know what you're getting with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think the pro day is going to make you like change your mind whether you're going to draft him or not. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's still going to be the first wide receiver taken off, but I think Neighbors has now positioned himself with his pro day to be the second wide receiver taken off. Yeah, I think he's definitely moved up ahead of like Odunze from Washington. And I put the tight ends in there with the wide receivers because this year is really not a heavy tight end class.
Right.
It's really Brock Bowers, and then it's like who? So I think he's even positioned himself to go ahead of Brock Bowers, even though On the little mock draft I did, I had Bowers going 7 to Tennessee, which makes a lot of sense for them because of the offseason moves that they've made. As far as wide receiver, running back, they've kind of shored up those positions where they don't need to draft.
Right.
And I think Tennessee is a great spot for him to go. Young quarterback to work with, veteran running back in Tony Pollard. He's got other veteran wide receivers. Very easy for him to come in. I loved what Brock Bowers did at Georgia. He's not just he gives me the Kelsey type. Great hands, he can catch, great route running, amazing blocking. He's going to give you everything that you need out of a tight end, not just not just like that fourth wide receiver or third wide receiver that a lot of tight ends turn into. So, but with Malik Neighbors, I like I said, I definitely think he moved himself up to that second wide receiver taken off the board.
Yeah, I think Neighbors was always pretty safe to go. Mel Kiper was known to prop up players, Schefter following suit.
Yeah,
I don't think so, because what happened was with Kiper, it was all but like proven that he had good friends that were agents, and that agent's players were notoriously always ranked a lot higher than what they should have been on his big board. Schefter isn't a draft analyst at all. He's an insider. So all he does is report what he hears from his sources. Whereas Kiper does draft analyzing and puts out rankings and stuff like that. And he's been he's been the godfather of draft analyst season and draft analyst, period. There was nobody before he started doing this. He started it. He legit started this whole thing about being a draft analyst.
And then from there, you get now we have the NBA analysts. Now you got other NFL analysts that are, that are under him.
Right. I mean, you have draft analysts for every single kind of draft there is out there. So when you think about it, Kiper is paid to give his opinion on who he thinks is going to go where, who he thinks is the best. When you have somebody like that who's kind of influenced by a friend of theirs that has, players that they represent, that's when you can kind of say it's some shady stuff going on. Schefter has to stay true to his sources and report what he hears. He's not paid to say, I think this guy's going first. I think this guy's a better, tight end or whatever. He's not paid for that. So it doesn't benefit Schefter to prop up a player as opposed to how it would benefit Kiper. But it's just one of those things, man, that sometimes you gotta kind of pull yourself back and say, okay, do I trust the information that this person is giving me? Do they seem slanted? Do they have a reason to lie or to prop up said player or what have you? So I get why people would still question Schefter. It's just knowing the difference in what they both do and what they're both paid for. It lets me to believe that I kind of believe Kiper would be on the take and Adam Schefter would.
That's a great question, Dre. So on the little mock draft I did, right? I have Neighbors going 6 to LSU. I mean, not LSU. My bad.
To the Giants.
I am sleepy, guys. I promise you I am. Malik Neighbors, I got him going 6 to the Giants. Yeah. Like I said, I think he's moved himself up the board to be that second wide receiver taken off. I kind of, prior to this conversation, I technically have him third because I have Rome Odunze coming off to the Chargers. I think that could go either way with both of them. Either him or Neighbors going 5-6 to the Chargers and Giants. Again, a lot of what both teams, just like I was talking about Tennessee, Chargers also shored up the running back room. They also lost wide receivers, trading wide receivers away. So both teams need wide receivers. Giants definitely do need wide receiver one, Dre. That's why Odunze and Neighbors, either one could turn into wide receiver one for them. Maybe not the Chargers, because I'm trying to think who else is still there. Mike Williams is gone.
They got rid of Mike Williams. They got rid of Keenan Allen. They got rid of
they need a wide receiver one also.
Yeah, they definitely need a wide receiver. But and this is the thing. Like when you put a Doomsday there, at first I was like, man, Key's tripping. But I thought about it. Harbaugh likes to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Harbaugh's going to want somebody he feels like can also block on that outside. But Doomsday is not a small guy. Let me go back to the rankings right quick because I had it pulled up, but here we go. So Doomsday is what? 6'3", 212 listed from the combine. Huge guy. He's rated, Lance has him rated as a 6.74, which is a year one starter. NFL Next Gen Stats has him rated as a 90, which is an elite prospect. So, like, he's rated very highly, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went that direction. He says Chargers drafted TCU kid last year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm saying. And that right there, that point right there, Dre, is why I looked at Key's mock draft and it changed my mind when I really looked into it. And I was like, wait a minute. I can't remember the kid from TCU last year that they drafted. But when they drafted him and they got rid of Allen and Williams, they could be right back on Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
They could be right back where they were with Williams and Allen, pairing a Doomsday with Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You got your two twin towers on the outside again. Harbaugh has two big body wide receivers that could and should be able to block for the run game on the outside better because of their size. So pause. So no, did he? So you look and it's like, you know what I'm saying? You rebuilding right where you had with those two big monsters that you had before. Pause. So it's like, I'm just saying, like you putting yourself right back in position to get right back where you were with those two big.
And that was my thinking, because I was like, they again, offensively and defensively, they've made moves, they've shored up positions. But when you're drafting that high, and I'm looking at like that top 10, at least the top 7 is all offense that's going. A wide receiver in that spot for them makes the perfect sense. Also, like I said, same thing with the Giants. They've shored up some positions, replaced here, there. I mean, they're still looking quarterback, but I don't see the Giants reaching quarterback at 6. Anything could happen, but I don't see them reaching on anybody after Caleb, Drake, and Jaden Daniels. I mean, JJ's still going to be there. Michael Penix is still going to be there after that. But I don't think either one of them is going to end up being the Giants guy for the future. Penix could be. I like Penix there too. I had trouble going like whether I wanted to say wide receiver or quarterback with them, because it's really hard to tell what they're going to do, just because they've shored up a lot of money in Daniel Jones. You could draft a quarterback there, which I mean, if you never want to be stuck to where you miss out on a quarterback, and now because you are paying one, kind of like what Green Bay did. Green Bay was paying Rodgers a lot of money, but they took the chance and drafted Love. Like, hold on, we like this guy for the future for us. You know what I mean? So I could see them. I could see the Giants also doing that at 6. So,
and the thing is, man, what up, Marks and Mikes? What's up, fellas? Here's the thing.
What up, Marks?
They're evaluating quarterbacks still. They've shown support for Jones, but they've also said if they draft a quarterback, okay, cool. Basically, what ownership is saying is I'm okay with keeping this guy, but if you feel like you find somebody you can replace him with, go ahead and draft.
And next year draft not too bad, depending on where they finish this year, this season coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always trade up different moves you can make to go get your
Mhm.
quarterback. I think as of right now, Shador probably is going to be top. I got to see. He's coming off a really bad back injury. Even though he looked great with the injury, though, that's the crazy
Yeah.
part. The man back was
He didn't look
fucked.
bad at all.
Pause. And like he played amazing despite. So if he can be 100% going into the new season, into a new conference, you never know. So
Yep.
oh yeah, for sure. And
And
Love is
and
panning out to be great. Like they put the right weapons around him. Went out free agency, got him some good
mhm.
players, replaced Josh Jones is a amazing replacement. I mean, Josh Jacobs is
Yeah,
a amazing replacement for Aaron Jones. So
big time.
like I think that's, and I loved Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones was a fire running back, but I think Josh Jacobs is an upgrade if you want to be honest. Um, so if healthy, Josh Jacobs is a upgrade. So I think they did the right thing in Green Bay. It's gonna be amazing. That whole division stepped up this off season so far. That's gonna be a tough division. We got to see what Minnesota does at quarterback. I think we pretty much know what Chicago's about to do at quarterback. So that division is gonna be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, and they brought back AJ Dillon as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you pair up, two big hammers in the backfield with Dillon and Jacobs as your RB1, the Packers are planning on like, look, we're gonna pound the rock with this run game, and we're gonna keep our quarterback clean, and we're gonna play off of play action. We're gonna find him some weapons and whatnot. What I really looking for Green Bay to do is shore up their offensive line to help that run game and also help protect Jordan Love so he's not back there running for his life.
Yep.
I also think that they're going to invest in that offensive line as well because they're going to have to pay Love because I don't see them moving on from him and finding another quarterback that they're going to just plug and play. You're not just going to find somebody else that you're just going to plug and play. You don't have those kind of weapons. Your team's not set up like that right now. What I do think though is that if they invest in that offensive line and they get him a couple more weapons or what have you, I think that and that run game produces like you think it should. I think that it'll make whatever contract they give Love more justified because you're putting him in a better position to succeed as opposed to throwing him out there and saying, "Hey, go get it." He's not the type of quarterback that's just going to say, "Hey, we're just going to roll it out there and say, go get it." He's not that kind of guy. He needs a lot more support around him in order to, they got to replace Bakhtiari because they let
Yeah,
him
they
go.
have to.
And I mean, he's been one of the better left tackles in the game for the last 5 to 10 years, damn near.
Yeah,
So
very consistent.
exactly,
Very consistent.
you can't replace him, but you need to find somebody who can play left tackle that you trust. Because I highly doubt that you're just going to be okay with a scrub backup or whoever as the starter. Look,
Freak man.
he blocked me on Twitter after we kept roasting him down here in Houston. So I think I'm blocked on Twitter. Am I blocked on Twitter? Let me see. I need to look because I want to say he blocked me. Like I've been blocked by people on Twitter, and I'm like, bro, I ain't even do you nothing. Why you block me? Like I can understand why some people block me. I get it. I don't care. It is what it is. But it's like, bro, I ain't even do you nothing. I called you out on your shit. Like you a pervert. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You have to have been doing. It ain't no way in hell that many different women gonna come out and say you did some freaky shit. Come on, bro.
It's a money grab, but that's what I be saying. Some of it.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Oh no, I'm not blocked by the. I thought I was blocked by Deshaun Watson on Twitter. Hey,
I don't think Cleveland's in a bad situation though, to be honest. I ain't gonna say
block.
I don't think Deshaun, I ain't gonna say he ain't it. I don't know. I think the distraction and being away from football, and then also he was hurt. So it was weird. It was really weird. And then him coming into Cleveland.
Here's my biggest thing with this, and this is what
I want them to do well because again, another division that I love because all the teams in that division have stepped up to where it's like I honestly can't say the Ravens are going to repeat again next year. Like Steelers went out and got Russell Wilson. Bengals,
if they can pull something out of him, they dangerous.
Yeah, like that division is stacked, if you want to be honest. So I don't know. But even they went out and got an insurance policy also. I like the insurance policy that they went out and got.
That's what I was just getting at. That's one of my most favorite underrated offseason moves of this NFL offseason was the Cleveland Browns signing Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Flacco comes back because they signed Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Flacco not coming back because they already had Huntley. They brought in Winston, and
they got Huntley too.
Have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who was a rookie last year, who they really liked.
And so, I think he could. I think he could be the future. I like that they put the right people around him. Jameis Winston, perfect person to put around him. Not just football mind, but also just all around great guy.
Yes,
locker room leader.
Bro, let me tell you something.
And people Huntley down there, Huntley also
bad. Hey, Lance, you my favorite white boy. I'm telling you right now, you my favorite white boy. After I saw that message you just sent me,
Flacco went to the Colts. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who he signed with, bro. I was about to have to look it up, but then
and that was good for them. That was
I'm cool with that. But like, Winston was so beloved in New Orleans because of how he and his wife and kids and everybody ingratiated themselves into the community. Like, people in New Orleans will forever fuck with Jameis just because of how Jameis was when he was down there. Like, New Orleans is one of those places where if you come there and you show a little bit of love or whatever and respect, that city gonna love you forever. If you come down there and you really try to integrate yourself into the culture and the society and the fandom and everything, oh, they really gonna defend you to no end. Like, they'll go to war behind you. And that's how that fan base feels about Jameis because of how much he just became ingrained in the culture and everything down there. And he was always gracious, always kind, gave back, everything. So just to know the kind of hey man, we appreciate you stopping by, bro. Like, for real.
Always, bro. Always.
Always all love. But just the way he made himself a part of the community, and the way that play in that last game, getting what's his name, that touchdown or whatnot. Like, he said, nah, fuck that. Like, this our boy Jamal Williams. He's been on the team all year. He led the league in touchdowns last year. He ain't even got one this year. We're gonna get him a touchdown. That's leadership stuff. That's locker room stuff. That stuff, all that eat a dub and stealing crab legs and effort in the pee and all that stuff goes out the window when you talk about Jameis, the football player.
Mm-hmm.
Because his teammates love him. His coaches love him. The fan bases love him. Like, what's the worst you can say is, like, he takes chances. And he may overthrow some guys, or he may do this, but you know what? He's gonna go to war with you, and he's gonna be there with you no matter what. And he is not going to he's not going to. He's somebody that you know you can count on. And I think as steady of a professional as he's become as a football player and the kind of man that he is and family man that he is, I think that'll be a good positive influence on Deshaun Watson and on that entire quarterback room. Because like you said, Keyz, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he has something that you can work with. And if you cultivate and curate that talent, he can be somebody where you can say, okay, you know what, we're ready to move on from Watson.
He had flashes of, I ain't gonna say greatness, but watching him this past season when he came in before he got injured, he played good, played really great. Flacco came in and did exactly what a veteran is supposed to do, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson was playing amazing. He was playing really good football. So
Yeah.
I think they definitely got some that they don't have to plug him in right now.
Yeah, I
They
really
can
think that
actually take their time to, groom him, pause, and definitely no Diddy there. And bring him along into being a starter, for the future in the next like 3 to 5. I'll say 3. I ain't even gonna put 5. That might be too long because quarterbacks, but probably definitely somewhere in the next 3 because that Deshaun don't got but what his was what 5 years,
yes.
5 or 6. So and they gave him all of his money, so they tied up in that at least for the next 3. So yeah, it's long. No Diddy on that one, boy. No Diddy.
Hey, shout out to the Susio boys. I believe it's episode 130 or 131 that's out right now.
Hold on, I can tell you.
Titled No Diddy.
131.
131. Okay. I knew it was either 130 or 131. I could not remember. Y'all know my memory be bad. I literally be having to look up our own episodes because I can't keep track of it sometimes. Like,
what we on? 25, 26, 25?
26.
This 26. See, I didn't know either. We
I
trying to get to 131 our damn selves.
I was talking to somebody right before we started. And I told him my secret. I was like, look, this how I remember what episode to do. Don't tell nobody this. Because I don't be remembering what episode we be on. And it was like, how you don't remember what episode you doing? I was like, look.
Bro, we just be going.
I be having be a lot of shit going on.
Bro.
I just be glad I can remember to turn the damn computer on and get this shit started most weeks.
Hey man, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro. I was putting the kids to sleep tonight because they were up.
Yeah.
And I went and laid with JJ.
Mm.
And I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. So Sha was like, I kept saying, I was like, I'm not about to put him to sleep. No, because I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna lay down, I'm gonna go to sleep. Bro, I woke up. She had called me like 4 times. She said she tried to wake me up. Some woke me up. I guess it was God. God woke me up for you guys. Because boy, I was knocked.
Bruh.
Knocked. I text Jermaine. I said, go on the start, yo. I'll be on the way. I'm coming. I woke up, it was like 9:37. I was like, shit.
Bruh.
I was like, fuck.
This what happened. I'm gonna be straight up honest, bruh.
Ville.
What up,
you
cuz?
know?
Look, this what happened. I knew I had to stop at the store right quick because I was like, I need some more bread. I thought my son ate most of the ham, and I was like, man, I think I'm gonna bring me some sandwiches for lunch tomorrow or something. I feel like eating sandwiches. I might eat sandwiches for dinner tonight. I don't know. I was like, okay, I know I need to go to the store get a couple of things. I know I needed some chips for the spinach dip that I had bought. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna run to the store, get that. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna cook something or whatever. And then I thought about, I was like, oh shit, I gotta divide up this chicken breast that I had bought. Fuck. I was like, all right, I'm gonna cook these sliders because I know this ground beef ain't gonna take that long to defrost. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna divide up this chicken. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna do all this shit. Go to the store. All this before the pie start. I went into the store. I divided up the chicken. I even cut and seasoned up damn near 4 pounds of it to fry later on. I did not make it to the sliders. So when my daughter left with her friend to go study or whatever, and my son was still asleep, I was like, well, fuck it, I ain't cooking tonight. I was like, hey, you niggas just gonna have to eat whatever y'all find. I ain't cooking tonight. Because I was like, I had text you when I had text you again earlier, and you didn't reply. I was like, oh, he busy. Something going on. He busy. Something going on. Hopefully he ain't got a migraine or nothing like that. That's what I was like, okay, hopefully nothing happened with shy kids, nothing happened with kids. Hopefully he ain't got no migraine. I was like, if all that's good, cool, whatever. I'll figure the rest out. Look, I told y'all if you ever in the area, just stop by. I tell everybody if you're in the area, stop by. But I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get all this done, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do all it, and then nothing. I didn't get done everything what I wanted done, but I got done most of what I wanted to get done. So a lot of the times I'd be sitting here and I'd be like, all right, I think I'm ready, and then I may end up not being on time for whatever reason, thinking that I'm gonna be ready, and something happens and I'm not ready.
Bro, I turned on the Bernie Mac show film for them.
Yeah.
I know me, him, and Jackson was in there laughing. Jackson stopped laughing. I was like, all right, he's asleep. JJ was still laughing a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember going to sleep. But when I woke up, the whole Bernie Mac was still on and the whole room was asleep. It was just one of them things, man. Today has been a day. I was tired. I ain't gonna lie.
The worst is like right now, I'm watching the Rockets. They playing the Thunder. They up by 6 with about 3 minutes or so left. Well, they up by 4 now with about 3.5 minutes left in overtime. This is what messes me up watching like the Rockets or the Astros when they start playing, because we'll get into that a little bit. MLB opening day is tomorrow.
Oh yes.
I'll be watching the Rockets or the Astros on the local channel, right? They always replay the game after the post-game show.
Mm-hmm.
If I fall asleep watching one of these games, it will fuck me up because I don't know if I fell asleep for how long, because the game will be back on later on. And the only thing that will tell me that I'm watching the replay is I have to pay attention to this little bitty ass icon in the upper left-hand corner that says replay. If it don't say replay, okay, it's still the same game. I'm still up from I didn't fall asleep that long. If it say replay, I don't know how long I've been asleep. It's been 2-3 hours I've been asleep. That's how I know. So it be man, look, it be one of them days, bro. Because like I was feeling sleepy before before we got on air, and I just got that jolt of energy when we started, and I found the link and the music and everything. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm starting into that bruh. If you ain't following Ahan on social media, I'm telling you, you missing out on something.
Hey man, y'all retweet his last tweet also, the Ocho Cinco, because you know we trying to get Ocho on this this FIFA tournament or this
I gotta remember to go back. I should have, if I would have bookmarked it, I'd remember, but I gotta remember to bookmark it so I could go back to it, because
he just retweeted. He just retweeted. Oh shit. He just retweeted him again. Told that man he got 48 hours to pull up, which is I personally want him to pull up too, yo. Ocho, bro, if you don't know, Ocho is like the OG FIFA player, yo. Like I watched his streams of him playing. I played him on Xbox. Like this been a minute now. It's probably been like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Smoked my ass. Won't even close. Pause. No diddy. Yeah, I think he beat me like 11-1. Like killed me. I wasn't even that good back then. I just was lying to him just so I could play him. Yeah, I lied. I was like, I'm good. At the end of it, he was like, you lied. Yes, sir, I did. I'm not even gonna hold you. I did. Also, Billy, that X-Men 97, I love. Yeah, we end up, bro, just because this is a sports podcast don't mean we're not gonna talk about other stuff.
Hey, the clips that I've seen so far, I know I'm gonna like it.
It's like that. I like the fact that what they did was, so the original X-Men from when we were younger that came out, that started in 92, when it ended at the final season, which I think was like season 6, I think it went 6 seasons. All they did was pick up from where that one left off with Charles dying. So when Charles died at the end, this new one picks up from there. And Magneto is in charge of the X-Men now, because when Charles died, he basically was like, I'm trusting the X-Men to Magneto. So now Magneto is a good man. Like, he's on the good side now. That shit hard. I haven't watched episode 3 yet, but exactly, it's definitely restored that feeling, because it brings you back to being a kid again. Like, because even with the graphics, it looks like the old X-Men.
Wait, here's the thing. This is what fucked me up about all of this. And I know Vin was talking about it, because I've seen Vin, I've heard Vin, and I want to say, I know he's spoken about it on Eyeball, the Eyeball podcast. Go look it up, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Support the homies. Same thing with Marks and Mikes. Go like, subscribe, and comment with them as well. But I know I've heard Vin talk about it either on Eyeball or on Wrestle Rap. Go like, subscribe, comment on that as well. But I know I've heard Vin talk about it, but all y'all been talking about it, I'm thinking it's a replay of the old cartoon. They picked up where the old cartoon left off. It's just the way they're presenting it looks like I'm thinking the whole time it's an old cartoon. It's new.
Now you can tell that it's like newer, because of, we're in our time, but it definitely still looks like the way they drew and made cartoons back in 92. Like, the person that did it kept that part of it, which was amazing. Like, it's to the point where I had the kids watching it. They watched the first 2 episodes and they were like, we want more. Went back, and now they've been watching the original X-Men from the beginning, and like, they're hooked on it now. That's what I like, is that we can, when you do stuff like that and then you got kids, it's easy to bring them into what you watch. Because I've tried to like let my kids watch like some of the stuff from when we were younger. A lot of it, even I can't watch, because I'm just like, it just don't hit the same as it did when you were younger. Like, the original Power Rangers was dope when we were younger. I can't go back and watch that shit now. That shit's so trash.
Bruh, like,
but it's a lot of stuff. Like, cartoon wise, I think most of it pretty much still hits the same. Only thing I cannot find is Spider-Man. I can't find the 90s Spider-Man. That's the one I want them to watch, because I think that was better than a lot of the later iterations of it.
Like, it's so crazy, man. Like, I was talking to I was talking to somebody who's a huge like Marvel, DC, they're really into that kind of thing. And I know my kids are into it too, and I know some of my coworkers, all of y'all are into it and everything. And
okay, I'm gonna definitely look on there, Bill. I'm gonna look on there tomorrow.
See, that's another thing that I gotta like look into and stuff like that. Like, okay, shout out to fam. Black Wrestling, like, subscribe, comment on that as well. Please support the homies. I've been working on something for them for a long time. It's a little bit intimate, a little bit personal, but
hey fam, we got to get you on, man. So I can talk shit about them that team you like to your face. That's all. That's it.
Hey man, the shit is all love, cuz I know you probably got to go got a gig or a performance or something you got to go to. I already know. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it.
Same for us.
Man.
Hit that for them. Hit that for us.
Yeah. Because every time I go in the chat, no matter who pot I'm going in, hey, run them lights up. Run them lights up. I don't care who pot I'm going in. Run them lights up. Because that shit means something, man.
Nah, definitely. Oh, and happy belated to fam also, man.
Look, send Keyz a thumbs down, but thumbs up the pot. Oh, you crossed the lake tomorrow. Oh, okay. Bet. Like, man.
Hey, fam. Hey. Don't be putting that dumbass star. Hey, man. Hey, look, brother. It's cool. What's today? Wednesday? Wait till tomorrow. I'm about to be all in the I'm gonna just spam a bird in the comments the entire time. It's crazy. Putting that damn star in the comments, man.
Hey, I'm gonna tell him I ain't got nothing to do with this.
Can't wait till we get into the you wait for a couple months.
The
beef better get a running back.
Keyz and fam does not reflect Susio Sports and Black Wrestling. That is an Eagles Cowboys fan thing. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll be on that episode.
Look, before y'all go live, can y'all let me know a week in advance? Because I'm going to need to take off the next day because I'm not going to be right to go to work the next day if y'all go live. I'm letting y'all know now. I'm going to need a day off. I'm going to need a day to recover. Because that's Susio. Like, I always wanted them to go live. I thought it would be great because I thought it would be high jinks and hilarity at its finest. If they ever decide to really do it, man, look. Watch out. Watch the fuck out. Both teams.
He said, where's DJ? He don't want to have no football talks. He might want to, though. He still, what's crazy? The boys still, I like everything that the Panthers have done this offseason so far. I'm not even going to lie.
Bro, the deal that they just gave Clowney today is it's a nice deal.
It is. And I think that was what they needed on defense.
Yeah,
that was, and Clowney's the kind of person they needed on defense. Brings him back closer to home to play ball. Like, I like what comment? Huh? But yeah, I like everything. Nah, he definitely did. He played really good in Baltimore this last season. So, I think he's gonna do very well in Carolina. Like I said, I like a lot of what they've done offensively and defensively, to position themselves to be better than what they were last year. They went out and got the quarterback last year. They got the wide receivers last year. They got the running back. They pretty much got the offense together last year. And now this year they're focusing more on the defense now, bringing that part in. So I think they're gonna have a very good season. I don't think they're gonna finish the way they did last year. Because just winning one game is wild. But I'm not sure about winning the division, but I think they're gonna have a better season than they did last year.
Right. I definitely think that the Panthers are going to be better this year as opposed to last year. Missing out on that first round pick this year is going to hurt them. But I also think that given what's his name's Bryce Young's development and the adjustments that they're making, I think if you give them one more offseason, I think that's when we'll be able to see them starting to challenge for a playoff spot. I think this year is going to be the year where they go from cellar dweller to like, okay, we're going to win a few games and we're going to probably upset some people and shake the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think next year will be the year where they really like, you're right, fam. They can't be worse.
Yeah, I'm about to say I agree. They definitely can't be worse than last year.
They can't be worse.
Nah. I don't know who's gonna. You never know. Honestly, though, you never know who's gonna be that 0 and whatever or 1 or 2 win team.
Get Ben out of here. Get him out of here.
That pink horsepower.
Get him out of here.
If you know, you know.
No Diddy.
If you knew, you knew.
No Young Miami.
I ain't gonna lie, Gel Blast.
No
Comparing
Brendan
Gel Blaster to
Paul.
Pink Horsepower is wild.
Wild.
That's
Hey,
wild.
but
But it
look.
makes a lot of sense though, now that
Hey,
you
but
put it like that.
we need to ask Cammy, do they have pink gels?
They do.
Oh,
They do. You got it. So
we might have
on the
pink horsepower with gel blasters.
on the on the website, they do have different color gels. Usually all the guns come with green, and I think either the green ones or the glow in the dark ones. But on the site, they have different color ones.
Hey, hun, I'm not gonna give that. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not even gonna argue with you. And y'all niggas know I like to argue about shit. I will not argue with that one.
I'm not either, but I will say
there's definitely a case to be made.
I'll say the NFC North, depending on who and I said this before you had came in, depending on who Minnesota drafts, and I mean we pretty much know Chicago's going Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I think the NFC North is making a very great case to be right there with y'all. I think the NFC East at one point looked like it could be the best, and then like quarterbacks just ain't doing what they supposed to do with Washington or New York. Depending on Washington has a high draft pick, they're probably going Drake May. They could go Jaden Daniels though. I ain't gonna lie, Jaden Daniels has looked amazing, but they've been really organizationally. They've been talking about Drake May heavy this last year, so. They're definitely going quarterback. We know that for sure. Oh, for sure, they're picking quarterback.
Now, my thing is if Washington can get their quarterback situation figured out, they got weapons.
They definitely do on offense. They went out and got Eckler at running back.
Mm-hmm.
You still got
they still got Scary Terry at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They I want to say
they went out and got some defensive weapons
year before last. Jahan Dotson from
Penn State. Still got Dotson. Then they went out and got 2 players from Dallas. Yeah, exactly, fam. They do still need an O-line. That's part.
We know Ben.
I don't. I know now. I do now. Pink Horsepower. We gonna start naming these episodes, boy. That's what this was called.
And look, this was tame compared to Vin's normal comments. But I digress. But like that, there's gonna be a lot of movement around, and I'm really happy to see what these teams are gonna do and how they're gonna look.
Yeah, a lot of
between the draft and opening training camp, because you're going to have those post June 1st cuts. Mm-hmm. You're going to have some camp casualties and whatnot. So between now and I would say like training camp starting, there's going to be a turnover. And then after training camp to the end of preseason, there's going to be another small turnover again. So between now and the start of the regular season, there still could be some. There's not going to be major movement, because I don't suspect that we'll see like a cap casualty or a camp cut or what have you that's going to shock the system and shift the balance of power anywhere. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to make some moves here and there that's going to position them in a better place to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Washington still third in our division, but that quarterback play, like I said, I like what they've done offensively and defensively. I think, and I know I talked about this last week, the only thing I feel like Dallas hasn't shored up yet is that running back room. Once they figure out what they're going to do at running back, that'll kind of tell a little more, because I feel like
Rico Dowdell, and that's about it.
And I know I've seen the rumors where Zeke and Dalvin Cook are 2 people they're looking at, which are Zeke very familiar with the offense, smart move. Especially you can just bring him back for less money, so that's not a bad move for them. I would go out and get both of them if you want to be completely honest. I mean, you could get both of them for a good number a good low number because they're both looking to just play now at this
Mhm.
point. So you can get both of them for less than 3 altogether. If you want to be real, 1.5 for each.
Man, look, I
It ain't
feel
beating
like
us though.
I
Hey
feel
fam,
like
what's up? What's up, fam? Ain't beating them birds though.
as much as it pains me to say it as a Saints fan, but just being objective
Linebacker is a
professional,
problem for y'all too. Yeah.
if Kirk Cousins is healthy and they can find out how to better use Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson,
And Drake London.
and that Falcons team is gonna be a fucking problem.
Yep.
They could be a fucking problem because that defense has some bodies. The defense got some ballers on it. If they can shore up that offensive line and get maybe a couple more playmakers here and there on both sides of the ball, hey man, that Falcons team is gonna be scary. But
No, the Falcon definitely. And like Kyle told I ain't paying that man no mind, yo. Like Kyle told Kirk, you can have a number, man. All I want you to do is get me the ball. He said, I don't want no money, no nothing. Get me the ball. That's telling you he's been frustrated for years. What I've been telling y'all, I like Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts could be the best tight end in the league, hands down. But he has not had a quarterback that can get him the ball. He's done everything else. He's blocked. He's like the run game has always been there because he's blocking. He's done everything else. But he's a big wide receiver. Why is he not getting the ball when they are 20 or less? When it's 20 or less yards to that end zone, they in that red zone. Why is he not getting it? Why are you not throwing it up to him? Because he gonna go get it. He's big. He's tall.
The shit that pisses me off is that the last time that man had the capable quarterback to get him the ball was when he was at Florida with Kyle Trask.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time, and even then, I felt like Florida should have done more to get him the ball.
Still got drafted high, top 10.
Because you saw the size, speed, and athleticism at that position, and it's
and
like
you can't teach that.
Pass that up.
You can't teach that at all.
You can't. So it's like, what do we do? Well, you obviously get the nigga the ball more. Like,
and that's the one thing I will say about Kirk Cousins. He gonna get you the ball. He gonna get you the ball. He gonna put that ball exactly where it needs to be and where you can go get it. Where Atlanta's gonna look real different this year. Real different.
And
I still like the Bucks because of familiarity and continuity. Lost a couple pieces defensively, but I think offensively they're still going to be good. Bringing back your quarterback and your wide receiver says a lot. New Orleans, I don't know. New Orleans has good pieces. They have really good pieces. It's just them playing together.
Bruh, let me tell you something. The Saints could either go 6-11 this year, or they can go 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't fucking know.
Alvin Kamara he has to be back to who he was.
I think Alvin
Kamara sets the tone for that offense more than anybody else.
Bro, he's been the backbone of that offense since he got there.
Mm-hmm.
Since he got there. Because I'll never forget when Sean Payton went to go see him at Tennessee pre-draft workout, their pro day and stuff. He actually put Kamara through a separate workout just to see what he could do with him. And he knew he had his next X factor in Alvin Kamara. And from that rookie year on, he has been the key cog to that offense. It don't matter who they have at quarterback, what Michael Thomas or whoever does at wide receiver. That offense starts and stops since the day he walked in that building on Airline Drive with Alvin Kamara. Bottom line.
He's been the
If
one
he's
constant.
healthy and he can oh wait, I just saw an alert. Giants have a private workout scheduled with JJ McCarthy.
I'm not mad at that.
Interesting.
But I feel like I'm gonna be honest, I feel like you're going to get the exact same thing you already got in-house, just younger.
True. But the thing that I've been listening to some people talk about is that McCarthy is seen differently in league circles than what fans and media and people see him as just from the numbers and things that he put up.
Mm-hmm.
They're seeing him for what he's projected to be on the next level, not for what he produced while he was at Michigan. And that's the difference between what most fans and stuff see in a player going from college to the NFL as opposed to what team executives and the like will see. Because they see, okay, I see he has these skill sets, I see he has these traits, and so on and so forth. Here are some things that we feel like we can improve upon with coaching and whatnot and bring him into our environment. This is where we can make improvements. Whereas fans and the like, they see, oh, he didn't put up no numbers. He didn't even throw for this many yards, or he didn't do this, or he didn't do that. But look at his completion percentage. Look at his completion percentage against pressure. Look at how many times he was asked to throw the ball, and also look at the situations he was asked to throw the ball in. Look at his ball placement, his accuracy, his anticipation. Does he throw receivers open? Does he play on schedule or is he constantly off schedule? How is his footwork? How is his technique? What's his release time? His release point? Like, there's so many different things that go into this that most people don't even think about or consider, that it will drown you in the type of evaluation and information that goes into making these type of decisions. So I just like to tell people, like, there's more to it than what you think, and you just really need to pay a little bit closer attention and dig a little bit deeper than what's on the surface. Because if you just dig and look at what's on the surface, a lot of the times you're gonna be disappointed. Hey, homeboy got his account back. Oh boy, with the list on Twitter.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I opened it up to go to the next topic and got distracted because I opened up Twitter and I saw he got his account back. But there's been a lot going on in the NFL, and we'll keep talking about it as the offseason grows and develops. I think the next thing up is going to be the draft at the end of next month. But between now and then, we're going to get a lot of pro days and a lot of private visits and workouts and whatnot.
A lot of mock drafts moving around.
Yes.
Players.
Yes.
I think for the most part, it seems like everything is pretty much like a given of who's going where. I think that number one pick, like we talked going into this week, we were waiting to see what Chicago was going to do. Chicago moved Justin Fields to the Steelers. I think was a great move for Justin. He gets to learn from Russell Wilson, who's a quarterback similar to himself, and also work with amazing coach in damn, why did I do this every week? I be forgetting names. The Steelers coach. Damn.
Mike Tomlin.
Thank you. Damn. So I think that's dope for him. So, like I said, they're pretty much going Caleb Williams with the number one pick. And then after that, it's a who's who of where what everybody's gonna do, and so we'll see. Like Jermaine said, a lot of workouts, pro days for the rest of this week, and some other things going into the draft at the end of the month. So next month. So it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun.
We're definitely gonna keep an eye on things and keep talking about it and going back and forth about it. But this is the time of year where teams tend to reshape their rosters and start like building towards their future in the upcoming season.
It's either Super Bowl or bust for a lot of teams, to be honest. That's pretty much how it is nowadays.
Man,
It's either you're rebuilding to get back to Super Bowl or bust, or you're already there and it's Super Bowl or bust. I think as an Eagle fan, the moves that we have made this offseason, and I'm not even gonna say just this offseason, it seems like every year since the Super Bowl win has been Super Bowl or bust every year now. We are now in that discussion. We are in that. I think going out and getting Saquon surely says win now and win fast. The wide receivers we brought in, the defensive players, it's all and on paper, if you want to be completely honest, we're looking like, and this is a non-biased talk right here, because if we looked ass, I surely would say we are ass. It looks like that. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I love what everybody has been doing around the entire league to position themselves. The way wide receivers, not wide, free agents, and where everybody has been going and landing trades. This is probably one of the most exciting drafts in a very long time. As far as like who's picking who, what quarterback is going where, what running back, what wide receiver, who's going to make a trade to move up. So football season, I am looking forward to just watching football in general next year. Not just watching my team, but just watching in general. Dre, you are very right. Losing Kelsey is going to be huge. I am still hoping that he did not turn that paperwork in. And because I actually, it's so crazy. They dropped the episode this morning. Travis Jason's podcast, Saquon was on there today. And as I'm watching, I'm just waiting for Jason to be like, hey, Saquon, I'll be there. See you at training camp. I was waiting for that. I still am. I seen where Monday Night Football is trying to grab him. I'm hoping he says no, because he's coming back to the Eagles because we need him at center. I think this the year. I'm gonna be honest, man. Hell, I was cool with Fletcher leaving. I was actually okay because I love the players that we brought in from Georgia.
Yeah.
We brought in some dogs from Georgia. So, but on the O-line, I don't think we prepared for Jason to leave. I don't think I like what we have. Don't get me wrong, because there's been times where he's been out hurt or like he's had to like sit out, a quarter or two, and we've been fine. But that's when he has to sit for a quarter or two. So it's gonna be interesting. But I think I trust Howie. That's the one thing I'll say. I trust the Godfather. The man knows what he's doing. He's been turning water into wine for the last like 4 or 5 seasons.
Bruh, I'm gonna put it to you like this: before we move on, next football season is gonna be Randy from Backstage Brawl. I want to say Randy a Giants fan if I'm not mistaken, but like it's gonna be so.
Thank you for your running back.
Moving into next season, looking at the teams, because there's always going to be a little bit of turnover in those playoff teams. I want to say out of the 7 teams in each conference that make it, you may get 4 that repeat, and then the other 3 are going to be new teams. So you always get a little bit of turnover, but you always get some layover. And it's always that exchange of who falls off and who comes up. That's the most interesting thing to me.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I think back to how everything I said preseason, I was like, the Eagles have the easiest road back to the Super Bowl. Chiefs have the hardest because of the way the AFC shaped itself out. And I was pretty much right till about what was it, week 11 when we played the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We beat them barely. And then after that, it was that downward. And then as we went down, they started coming up. And it was like, oh no, they fighting. And it was crazy to see because I'm like, man, they literally had the toughest road back. in my opinion, and they made that bitch look so easy.
Yeah.
I hate that they did, but they made it look so easy to get back and just win it.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing. Like, so I still think every year, I'm gonna say it, like even next year, I don't think the Chiefs have done too much. Like,
Yeah.
I still think they have the hardest
Wait.
road to get back, but
Adding Hollywood Brown to give Mahomes that deep threat
us
again.
that number one, yep.
That is Hollywood Brown is not a. I would say he's a 3 at best. 2 if
Mhm.
he's really on his game, but a 3 at best. Giving Mahomes that deep threat. I love that comment. The Golden State Warriors of the NFL.
Very true.
When Golden State's rivalry started,
Mhm.
their dynasty. I'm sorry. When that dynasty started, that's what they are right now. Chiefs are definitely that. But
For sure.
Just looking at the way next season is going to fall out and play out, we're gonna get Chiefs gonna be back up there. But I think one of those teams that kind of didn't really look great this year that could have a chance of looking either really good next year or really shitty next year is the Bills. There's gonna be some teams that made
The
the playoffs
window,
the last couple seasons that are gonna start to fall off.
that
And
Josh
teams are going to
Allen
be looking
window,
at it. Everybody's going to be looking at him like, what the hell happened? How did this happen?
the Bills windows is damn near shut. Like, and the way I see it,
It's closing up.
it's
It's
the
closing
way
up.
that AFC East is looking. I mean, the Patriots are out of it. They're not even in the contention, but Miami's not a slouch team anymore.
No,
The
bro,
Jets
like
with a healthy Aaron Rodgers this season.
and wait, I understand Tyron Smith has been hurt. I get it. I
But
get it.
that's a huge pickup.
Bro, it's an upgrade over what they had before. Even
Bengals
him
also,
at
but the
60
Bengals
or
are
so
young.
percent of what he used to be is an upgrade over what they had before.
Yep. You went out and got Tyron to protect Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, for me, that Bills window is closing. Because Diggs is unhappy. You can see it. He wants out. Josh Allen, as someone has told us, he ain't nothing but a white Cam Newton, and not in a good way. So, I mean, I think that the Bills are one of, and I saw it last year where I was like, they one of them teams that, like, just like you said, they could go either way. Either
They
they're gonna
go
make
either
a
way.
hard push or they just gonna. And I think they
But
kind of did both last year.
yeah,
They made a
I
hard
can
push, but they
see
also was like, ugh.
I can see the teams that won't have a problem repeating maybe as division champs will be the Chiefs and the Texans. Because I see
I like the
what
Jags though.
I don't I what did they do at wide receiver after losing Ridley?
Yeah, yeah. I also like the Colts.
Anthony Richardson's basically going to be a rookie this year.
Yeah, because he missed
They
like what,
re-upped
90% of.
Pittman, and they've added some pieces here and there, but it's like, is that O line going to hold up? Are they going to
Yeah,
continue to be the
yeah.
type of O line that they've always been?
I think
And
this is also one of those make or break seasons for Trevor Lawrence. Also,
I think it may and it may not be. I just realized like there's things that he needs to be coached on that I think that Doug Peterson just hasn't had the time and everything with him to like fully get him ingrained in what he wants him to do. I think that if he has one more season with Doug Peterson, I think that then we'll be able to see a Bengals in that same category. Yeah, definitely. Losing T. Higgins and Joe Mixon is going to really hit them. Aragon, yeah,
is
that
T Higgins gone though?
they're looking to trade him.
I know I've seen the.
They're
I think when the
listening to
season, I'm
offers.
gonna be honest.
They're listening
Even
for offers.
after, I mean, they're definitely. I think it's definitely gonna be draft night offers for him, but I think he stays. I honestly do. I don't see. I think when the season starts, he'll still be there.
Now, I didn't want to get too many Texans fans' hopes up, but when I saw that alert, they reworked Shaq Mason's contract,
Mm.
cleared up another $6.4 million in cap space, right? Even after the first few waves of free agency, you already have the draft portion of your salary cap set aside for the rookies. That's done when you're going into free agency. So you're already knowing, okay, this is how much I have to set aside for draft class. This is how much I have to spend in free agency. So that way you're not, putting yourself in a bad position up against the cap. Why did you make a move to clear up $6.4 million in cap space unless you had another move up your sleeve besides trading out of that first round pick to pick up an extra couple of second round picks, one this year and one next year? I'm curious. I'm wondering, why did they just end up freeing up this cap space last minute like this? Unless Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans has another move up their sleeve. And I'm not saying that they're going to trade for T. Higgins. I didn't say that. All I'm saying is it just sounds curious to me.
Do they even have a first round pick though?
No, they traded out of that first round pick and picked up another second rounder.
Okay. That's what I thought.
So they picked up 42 overall, which is like the 9th or whatever pick in the second round.
Mm.
And they still have number 59, which is like the 27th or 28th pick in the second round. So they have those 2 second rounders. Plus they picked up an additional second, I believe, next year.
Okay.
So they got Minnesota's second round pick this year and next year, basically, for their first rounder.
Okay.
Yeah. It was another pick or two involved, later round picks. I want to say like a 5th, and maybe they swapped 7th or something like that. It was some other like later round picks, but it was mainly them 2 seconds this year.
Ultimately, you feel like they're gonna go out and make a little move for T.
I didn't say that.
Him with Tank.
I just said it was a curious move. That I don't know nothing. I ain't got no inside information. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Anybody want Kyle Shanahan? No. No.
Man, you know what? Fuck that. I'll take him to New Orleans over Dennis Allen.
I mean, at least you'll make it to the Super Bowl. You might lose it, but you'll get there. Shit.
Look here. Bruh, I ain't gonna lie. One of the funniest last conversations I had with my grandfather before he passed, we was talking about the Saints and shit. He was like, man, bro, I gotta figure out a way how to put that on the screen, because sometimes I need that. I need that meme of myself. That has a whole story in and of itself. But anyway, like one of the last conversations about football I had my grandfather before he passed, we was talking about the Saints and shit. And I remember, like, I was just like, man, they need to get rid of that coach. Carmichael's bad, Allen's bad, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, he just be chilling like he just listened to me go off or whatever. He was like, well, you gotta wait till next year then. Ain't nothing else we can do about it. And that was it. He was just like, fuck it. What you gonna do? And I was just like, you know what, you're right. Fuck it, we just gotta wait till next year. I sipped my drink and everything. We just kept talking like, hey, it was just like, because he always like, he wouldn't like get too up, too down. He knew how to He'll be pissed off about it, or he'll be really happy about it. But it was like when it come to all that bullshit in between, he was like, "Man, fuck it, just wait till next year. Ain't nothing we can do about it."
Hey man, as a Laker fan, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Them after Kobe, before LeBron years, that middle. Oh my
Bruh,
god,
it's purgatory because you be like,
them last couple years with Kobe.
oh!
It's like we had Kobe, but we had fucking Robert Sacre.
Bruh, like speaking of the
Oh my
NFL, I
god.
mean, I said the NFL, the NBA, bro. I just finished watching Jalen Green go off again.
Hey man, that man is playing for child support money. He is playing for child support money. Child support money. That man got 3. Did they confirm that last one? Because you know they say it's another one pregnant, and she do
It's
she
supposed
do
to
at the
be
same
he
time,
pulling Tyreek Hill, dog.
bruh.
He
You
pulling
got the one
Tyreek
that just
Hill.
had one a couple months ago. Like during the summer, I think the report said. Then there's another girl that claims she's pregnant by him, and she's due the same time Drea is. Like their due dates are like damn near similar. That man is playing for child support money. He about to play his ass off. He gonna make sure he got contract after contract after contract until he's done. That man is always gonna be either on Houston or 18.
Let
Trust
me
me.
tell you something.
That young man fucked his life up.
You know why he balling out like that?
But he fucked Drea, and I'm jealous. Damn. She the only reason I know about basketball wise. Oh God,
wait,
I
bro.
don't care about that
Wait.
shit. But her, I hated Orlando Scandrick, but I was
Bruh.
jealous of Orlando Scandrick.
Nigga, he was a cowboy. You of
And
course you was gonna hate
and
him.
that's why I hated him. But then
Come
I was
on,
like,
man.
damn, that nigga got
But
Drea though. But that nigga
like
got Drea.
I'm looking at what the and at first when they was coming up, I called them the little missiles.
He did not go to the symposium, Dre, at all. I swear to God, he didn't.
Bruh, hold up. Oh man, I figured he was a Knicks fan. Yes, he is playing for child support.
He did not listen. None of them niggas did. What's old boy got pregnant? Old boy in Charlotte, they got pregnant by
PJ Washington, Brittany Renner.
Yeah, PJ damn sure ain't listen. He got her pregnant, then went out and got another crazy bitch and got her pregnant. These
Wait, he
niggas
got
don't
another
listen.
one pregnant?
The one he's with now. I think that one they have 2 together. I think they have 2 together. I might be wrong. I forgot. I follow her on Instagram. I forget, and TikTok. I forgot her damn name. Very nice looking girl. She crazy as hell too, though. But these niggas don't be listening, man. None of us do. I'm saying it like they rich and got any more sense. None of us listen. As a man, we all know the crazier, the better.
Look, here's the thing. I love what the kid is doing, but in sports wise, just real quick, because I gotta get this fucking joke off though. But like just sports wise, like for them to come back and beat one of the top 3 teams in the West the way they did tonight, and for Green to go off and perform like he did tonight, I think he had 37, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. He had another 7 of 11 threes tonight and kept making highlights all night. It's showing growth, and it's showing that a couple of things. Not only are they more confident than they were, and they went out and spent free agency money to bring in vets to bring them up a level, but it's showing what Ime Udoka and his coaching staff is doing and the difference that they're making when you couple just a little bit more veteran talent with a good coach that's going to pull the best out of these guys. And to me, it shows that sometimes you just get a coach in there that can pull the most out of these players, and that's where they are. Now, back to the issue at hand. The reason why he playing like that is because, number one, Texas has no state income tax. So the bulk of the income tax that you're going to pay, you live in a state that does not collect state income tax. I want to say pro athletes have to pay taxes everywhere they make money because they're contractors or some shit like that, wherever it is. They rich. I'm not. I don't know all that, but I know it's some weird shit with their taxes and stuff. But that's why a lot of them like to live here is because it's no state income tax. Also, I want to say Texas has very favorable child support laws. I don't know if your support is based on where you live or where the kid's mother lives, whatever, but I know it's some tax benefits and I want to say it's some child support benefits as to living and being in the state of Texas. Tax benefits for sure. So if he wants to keep more of his money, he'll want to stay here, which means he'll want to have the Rockets extend him off of this rookie contract. That way he can at least have an extra year and more money per year by staying with the team that he's at, as opposed to exploring free agency and going somewhere else.
Yep.
Henceforth, you ball out, you get re-signed, stay in Texas, keep more of your money.
And he's good. It's always been there, but I think Dre said it. I don't know if I'm gonna be honest, I think, and just from what I could tell, because it's been so much bigger press in the media with him lately, it is the baby mama drama. Like, bro, I got so much going on at home, I can't do nothing but focus on my job. Like, I gotta think about Kobe during the whole trial. Kobe was fucking going insane during the trial because it was like my outside life outside of basketball is going so crazy. I gotta, like, I can, like, when I get here, I lock in, I focus. I don't have to worry about the outside world. All I gotta do is go play ball, go do what I'm good at, go do what I'm paid to do. And I'm looking at it the same way with Jalen right now. It's like next season might look totally different, but right now it's gonna look great because, again, my outside life is so crazy that I'ma just come in ball
and
take my frustration out on this rim, because that's if you watch the way he be dunking lately, he's definitely taking his frustration out on that rim.
It's not even the way he been dunking, just the way he been attacking the lane itself. I've seen him make acrobatic, crazy, stupid layups left and right handed. Yeah, that was a rumor. What's his name? Sham Sharania put out there that allegedly they offered Green and 2 or 3 first-round picks for Bridges. That said no.
They should have took that, but who knows but at the same time, who knows he be playing the way he is right now in Brooklyn.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't predict that or nothing like that.
I wouldn't.
People saying that the Nets are stupid, the Rockets are lucky, it is what it is. If that is true, and the Nets turn down that offer, they are stupid, because bare minimum, what you're gonna do is get rid of a 25, 26, 27-year-old proven guy for a younger guy who's still on his rookie contract and 3 first-round picks. I'm just saying.
That 3 first-round picks kind of that's the part that get me right there. It ain't the player swap. It's them 3 picks that I'm giving up along with the player swap.
Depending on how good and or bad you think Houston is going to be, and how much of Jalen Green's potential you can get him to fulfill, will teeter-totter whether or not you feel like that deal is worth it for you or not. New Jersey felt like it was better to keep Bridges as opposed to Green and those picks.
I'm with Vin there. Cam Thomas I'd rather have him.
Yeah, boys, he is nice. He is nice. I I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, that revisionist history and looking back on it, and um they offered this, or they could have got this, or you know, it's like, okay, it didn't happen, it didn't work, whatever. But now, Cam Thomas was good when he was at LSU, and I always thought that he had a role in the league somewhere. It's just cool to see him find one with the Nets. Um, and speaking of basketball, though, he was talking about it last week, and I agreed with him when he said, I'll say, the women's tournament is going to be more entertaining, and I'm more excited for it than the men's tournament. I'll be honest, so far, there's been some crazy upsets in the men's tournament. Seen a few in the women's tournament, not very many. But overall, I'm more entertained off the women than I am the men. It's been true. So far, it has held true that the women's tournament has been more entertaining than the men's tournament. It's a fact. And one of the reasons why is because we've seen all the number one seeds in the men's tournament advance. I want to say all the ones and twos have all advanced, because I see Arizona and Tennessee, and I also see Marquette and Iowa State. Yeah, so all the ones and twos in the men's tournament have advanced, whereas in the women's tournament, I think one of the twos have already lost. Who was it? Ohio State.
I said
Ohio State lost to
Duke.
Duke. That's who it was.
On the women's side?
Yeah, on the women's side.
Yeah,
Iowa State gave Stanford a game. Stanford ended up winning that game in overtime. That was the
I
other
knew
game.
they would, though, because after watching the way Iowa State played,
yeah,
I forgot her 55. The way that girl was hooping, she went off for 40. That previous game, I was like, yeah, they about to get Stanford some trouble. Because I remember telling y'all I love their center. Well, I was in the space telling some people, but I love the center from Stanford.
Audie Crooks.
Yeah, Audie Crooks. I love her name too. It's a fire ass name.
Hell yeah.
I like the center from Stanford, but I knew that Iowa State was gonna give them a game. Everybody pretty much has. Like, the only blowout I saw last round was LSU blowing out Middle Tennessee State like they were supposed to. That was the only one that I seen, because Middle Tennessee State gave Louisville hell and beat them. So I knew coming in, I was like, LSU been playing kind of a little rocky. Middle Tennessee State might come out and give them that 1-2 punch, and then they didn't. LSU was like, nah, you got here, but we're gonna show you why you shouldn't be here. And that's exactly what they did. Everything else was close. That Iowa game was amazing.
Yeah.
Until the fourth quarter. Also, I feel like the refs got too involved. The refs changed the climate of that game a little too much. It definitely didn't go, per se how it should have. Because honestly, Iowa probably should have lost, to be honest.
I mean, they won by 10.
But that was because of that's because of the refs in the fourth quarter. So that's why I'm like, it was a little different. West Virginia was giving them hell up until the refs just, I don't know. I mean, we've always said that there is a script in sports. It's that invisible script. It's there. We know it's there. Sometimes it's the players, sometimes it ain't. I think that was just one of them games where it was like, I feel like if the refs would have stayed out of it and let them play,
I'm gonna put it to you like
there was some fouls that shouldn't have been called. There was some
If
offensive fouls
anything,
on
it was the
Caitlyn that should have
third
been called.
quarter that divided them.
That too.
That was when Iowa outscored them by 8. Fourth quarter, they both scored 16. So really, it was that third quarter that was like the big difference maker in the game. Now, one thing I will say, the refs couldn't help Iowa shoot 22.7% from three and have 15 turnovers, whereas West Virginia only had 9 turnovers.
And the only person that was hitting them threes was Caitlyn. Nobody
Exactly.
else. The last time they had a game like that where Caitlyn was the only one hitting threes, they lost.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, I put this one more on. Iowa just had a little bit more talent and was able to outlast West Virginia than more or less the ref. Because Caitlin Clark did have 12 free throw attempts. She made 11 out of 12.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also say that she was a lot more aggressive and she took a lot more shots than anybody else did too. So it's like they kind of helped them, but I mean, when one team shoots 36% from the field, the other team shoots 34% from the field. One team has 15 turnovers, the other team has 9. Like one team shoots 23% from 3, the other team shoots 27. It's like
it's a pretty even
so
game.
much give it's gonna have. Like
yeah, it was
just it was one of them. Like if this was football,
an ugly ass game.
Yes, if this was football, this would have been like a 13-9 like defensive struggle.
Yeah, like it kind of was. That's what it was. I like the next round games though. I'm not gonna say even, but it should be some fights. South Carolina, Indiana, Oregon State, Notre Dame, which is a 2-3 matchup. South Carolina, Indiana is a 1-4. Texas and Gonzaga is a 1-4. NC State, Stanford is a 2-3. Iowa playing Colorado, which is a 1-5. LSU and UCLA. That is the game of this round. That LSU UCLA 2-3 matchup is I'm calling that now. That is going to be the game of the round.
That one on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Okay.
USC Baylor also going to be another game that's going to be really good. And then UConn Duke. I like the way UConn girls are playing. They play Syracuse really well. Syracuse gave them a fight.
Yeah.
Very close to getting them up out of there. Duke in the last round upsetting Ohio State. Duke girls are coming to play this year. I think that South Carolina, Indiana is going to be good, but the way South Carolina is playing right now, they're destined to get back. I want to see them in Notre. I definitely want to see
girls are favored to win it all again.
I definitely want to see them in Notre Dame next round, so I'm hoping that's the matchup that we get. I think I definitely want to see Texas, Stanford next round, so I'm hoping that's the matchup we get. I love the way Texas girls have been playing. And of course, everybody wants Iowa and LSU next round. I'm so mad we're getting that in the Elite 8. I wish that was more of a Final Four matchup, but I'm not mad at it because we'll end up getting LSU and South Carolina if barring how things go, but we possibly either going to get LSU South Carolina third game this season in the Final Four, or we're getting we'll get Iowa South Carolina rematch from last year in the Final Four. Both really great matchups. And then well, actually, no, we wouldn't. They wouldn't fight. They wouldn't play each other into the championship. I'm sorry, I looked at the bracket wrong. We would get USC against, because I think USC is pretty much destined to get back. The only team I see that could possibly beat them in their that's left for them is probably UConn. If they get past Duke, and that's if USC gets past Baylor. USC is playing amazing ball though. Juju is playing lights out. Though the rest, Forbes is playing amazing. The rest of those girls on that team are playing their roles exactly. It's definitely Juju and the Ivies. Like they're playing amazing. So Next round, in the Elite Eight or final, in the Elite Eight, it would either be no, that'd be the Final Four. Sorry, damn, I'm looking at the bracket wrong. So in the Final Four, it would be more than likely USC against either Iowa or LSU, barring anything happening for all of them to get to that place. But I think that'd be a fire matchup either way with USC LSU or USC Iowa. So the women to me have way more stories than the men do. Again, for another this is like the fourth year in a row, I want to say, maybe fifth, where the women just have stories. The men is kind of cut and dry. It's like I don't think men's basketball has been exciting lately because of the one and done. And at first I was cool with a lot of these guys being able to come out after their first year.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence where I'm like, maybe they should just keep that rule where it's 3 years.
Well,
it's a tough thing, man, because it's like when you got the
in
G League and because they actually they got rid of G League Ignite.
Yeah.
I
Well,
saw
here's
that,
the thing.
and
In
that's gonna play a
football,
huge part in it too.
in
Because now they don't
football,
have another option.
in football, you have that 3 years also because you want to get that physical maturity. Because basketball is it's still a physical game at the NBA level, a way more physical game than it is at any other level. But you could see someone coming from high school going into the NBA physically.
Yeah.
You can't see hardly anybody going from high school to the NFL
It's
physically.
rare. Very rare that a player you look at and be like, he could step on a field, on an NFL field right now and be okay. Super
Right.
rare.
It's
Like you might get,
rare.
I feel like you might get, I'll say 5 at the most, maybe, depending on the position they're playing.
Man, look.
And it's mostly quarterbacks. And I still feel like even with that, like they still need that at least 1 or 2 years of that college time before they can even go. So I don't know, man. I just think for the men's part of the game, it makes it easier with the Ignite shutting down, because with the G League itself, you still got to get drafted. The Ignite was kind of like that farm system in a sense, where they had a couple high school players that were on the team that were like the one guy that's on there this year would have been a senior in high school. Is it this year? So because of the current rules still, he's losing. I forgot his name. I was watching Gil's podcast and Norris Cole was talking about him. I gotta look up the roster because as soon as I see his name or hear, I know exactly who it is. But
it kind of the situation kind of rings a bell. Like,
and it's weird because now he's losing a year. Where
Mhm.
next season, where he would play with the Ignite, then get drafted at the end of the
Yeah.
season, now he either has to go overseas or just sit and work out all year. So it's like it's a weird thing, and he can't go to college because he's been getting paid from the Ignite.
Yeah.
From what Norris said, even though NIL is in effect now, it's different because the NIL is more like while you're in college already, getting paid is okay. Also, if it's NIL money, it's different than you playing for another professional team and getting paid, then coming into the NCAA. So that's where that kind of thing, that gray area of where it's like, damn, he could go to college technically, but he can't because he was getting paid from the Ignite.
Right. So here's the thing. I don't really be worried about it too much. With basketball, because these guys can go overseas and play.
Yeah.
And still make a good living if they
And then
don't
get
make
drafted.
it in the NBA.
And even with that player, he literally can just go play overseas for a year.
Yeah.
And then,
get your name back up, get your weight back up, and then you could actually come back over here and re-sign. with somebody as a free agent, pick who you
Mhm.
want to go to as opposed to getting drafted by somebody.
Uh-huh.
So
So
there's certain advantages and things like that that you can deal with and go through and work around when you play basketball, as opposed to when you play football. You got that one path, that one shot, and you either make it or you don't. So to me in basketball, it's a lot different. It's a lot more forgiving if you choose to make that leap a little too early and it don't work out as far as making it in the NBA, as opposed to if you like fuck up your chances or whatever in football. Like you got one shot, you make it or you don't, and you screwed pretty much. Because the new I believe it's gonna be called the UFL.
yeah, United Football League.
Right, with the XFL and the USFL merging. Um, that's a spring football league, kind of like we talked about that in the chat. Like that's just to give guys a place to go that didn't make it in the NFL.
Yeah. But like I was telling y'all, and I think the way we were all, I mean, anytime you're, we in the chat typing or, it's always coming off a little different. But I like it just because of everything I've heard The Rock say, or Dwayne, in this instance, of how he wants the UFL to go, the reason they merged and why they decided instead of two separate spring leagues, let's just come together and make one, huge one. And he wants to work with the NFL. He doesn't want it to be like competition. He kind of wants it to be a farm system in a sense. And I love that because the NFL hasn't had that. A lot of guys, like you
Right.
said, even not just guys who kind of like not play themselves out the league, but just get pushed out in a sense because
Mm-hmm.
of age or just them drafting in somebody that's younger. Even if you're only 27, 28, they like, damn, I got a 22-year-old that can come in and do this better. It still gives guys somewhere to go play, and you can still get exciting football. Also, on the college side, when you have guys who get drafted, don't make a roster, and now they're kind of like sitting. Like, I don't think you per se need the practice squad anymore. Like, it's cool to have, I guess, but now, well, I guess during season you still would need the practice squad because one is spring ball, one is
I was
fall.
getting ready to say, bro,
I had to think
practice
about that.
squad is
No,
crucial.
I had to think about that for a second. But the good thing is, though, for some of these guys who from the previous year's draft who don't make a roster, now they have spring ball where it's like, okay, cool. Let me see what they were doing and maybe bring them in for training camp. Because that's the good thing is it's right before the football season. Like it's right before the season starts. So you can look at a lot of these guys and be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna bring them in for training camp. I like what he did up there. Quarterbacks, wide receivers. It gives them another chance to be seen before the season starts to try to at least make a roster. So I mean, that's the good thing about it. And like you said, a lot of the older guys who are kind of like too old for the NFL in a sense, but not too old to not keep playing ball, where they can, keep their dream in a sense alive. So
What's gonna end up happening is I think the reason why they wanted to get rid of the Ignite is because they want to keep the G League in a true sense of what it was meant for, as a developmental league for guys who can't make an NBA roster, who were on a roster, fell off, got cut, what have you, as opposed to a workaround with the NCAA. And I really think that was just like a little hat tip and a nod to the NCAA and was like, hey, look, you know what? We're going to shut this whole program down because the NBA basically doing that is giving you're basically taking guys away that option to go to a college. And with the NIL deals now, guys can make more on an NIL deal than they can at the G League Ignite.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it's like we're sponsoring something that's taking away from our free farm system. Now our free farm system has a pay for play type of system, quote unquote, that can actually pay these guys to go to that 1 year, 1 semester really of college. It's going to pay them more than is going to pay them to go to this professional experience and play in minor league stadiums and stuff, arenas. I'm sorry. So if you think about it, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to have to take some classes, but I'm also going to get paid more and play on a bigger stage on national TV more often and in front of bigger crowds and whatnot, and probably get just as good, if not better, coaching, depending on where you go, than if I went to this other option. Why
Yeah.
not do it?
Because to be honest, I like the Ignite. I think the Ignite was fire. Like they were killing
Mhm.
shit every year for real. I think like Norris was saying on a Gil podcast, I think like he said he understood the business side of it, which
Mhm.
was pretty much like anything with any major corporation or conglomerate. If it ain't I'm putting X amount of money in, I know I'm not gonna get that full return back, but I need to get damn near close to it, or at least 50% or something like that. And if I'm not, it's like, but I think the Ignite did exactly what it was supposed to do. Think about it. A lot of players that are in the league now came from the Ignite. So I think from a farm system, in a sense, it did
Mhm.
exactly what it was supposed to do. It's putting players in the league, it's getting them ready for the league. Um, it's just man, it's tough. It's definitely tough. Like I said, that one particular player that he was talking about, it like right now with them just deciding they're just gonna cut it, it affects him more than anybody else, which sucks. Because like I said, he's now in that influx for a year where he could go overseas, he could just sit out, work out, do that. I mean, at this point, if I've been getting paid played the ball, I'm definitely about to go overseas for a year. Got to keep that money coming in because now it's like outside of NIL and stuff like that, like what am I going to do? So, um, as far as the tournament, oh, that Caitlin Clark thing is crazy too. Um, the question I did write a question on there that I wanted to see how you felt. How do you like? So for years, as we watch women's basketball, which
Uh-huh.
is like different from the way they do the men's tournament, the
Mhm.
women play a lot of home games. Like if
Yes.
you're a higher seed, you play at home, which
Thank you
I
for
never
reminding
paid
me
it.
about this.
I honestly never paid attention to it until this season. Like I don't know why, but I never noticed it. And I watch the women's tournament every year, but I never paid attention to like the higher seed plays at home up until like a certain round. Even though they call the brackets like whatever city I guess they should be playing in, because it's like Albany, and the men actually play in the city of whatever bracket they're in. So it's like, I feel like even though you can lose at home, please don't get it twisted. But is that an advantage? Because I'm looking at like in Iowa who is playing at home pretty much, or South Carolina, they're
Mhm.
not facing that adversity of
Mhm.
playing on the road or playing that neutral site. And it's like, huh. And I've seen where I guess they're looking at next year actually having more neutral site games for the tournament. I think it's a little hard because a lot of the cities that they would want to go to, they're looking at like I guess where the men are also. So, but I think like I said, I never paid attention to it. And I'm like, yo, that's interesting that it goes like that as far as the women being at home, like the higher seed being at home, or especially if you're a number one seed, you're pretty much at home all the way until I think like the Elite Eight, I think it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
Either
Well,
that or
the
Elite Eight or Final Four, like your 4 games going into that, you're at home.
no. It's just the first two rounds.
Is it just the first two?
Yeah, it's just the first two.
Okay.
And then I believe you go to your regional sites after that for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Yeah, you're at your regional site for those games. Cause cause Iowa is in the Albany region. South Carolina is in they're in Albany. Oh, what the hell are they both in Albany? That's weird. Like it's something like I know you're in your regional games for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Oh, so they have two regions in Albany and then two regions in Portland. Like that's weird.
And that's why I said
The
like,
women do weird stuff sometimes, bro. Like I don't know why they do that, but like okay, so the men's their regions are hold up. Let me go to the schedule. That'll be
because the men actually play in the region that they're in for the tournament.
right.
Where the women, like you said, are still at home. Unless you're the lower seed, the lower seed is traveling, but the higher seed is playing at home.
Right. Okay. So we got LA, we got Boston, we got Dallas and Detroit. Those are the four sites for the men's regions. And then on the women's side, we have Albany and Portland. So
and they haven't played in Albany or Portland yet.
Right. To me, going back to your question though, like about the opening two rounds being like a home game for the higher seeds or whatever, I kind of like it. And here's why. It puts a little bit more emphasis on what you do in the regular season and in your conference tournament. So it makes that kind of stuff matter a little bit more as opposed to like, let's say if it was just all neutral site games, like on the men's side. If you do good, you're guaranteed to be at home and be comfortable for those first two games of the tournament. Plus, you're going to be playing lesser teams that's going to have to come to your place. I like it. And also on the business side of things, just looking at it from a business perspective, it gives those schools a bigger incentive to do good in the regular season and in your conference play and in the tournament and conference tournaments and stuff, because hey, if we get a chance to be a host site, you know what I'm saying? That's more money for us. And like women's programs on a little bit lower of a level, not the top ones like the Tennessees and the UConns and the LSUs and the Baylors they're gonna draw just like the men's programs will. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about your Virginia Techs.
Look at USC this season. USC women's basketball is back.
Exactly.
Like, on the level that the football team is on, because their men's team has they have names.
Exactly.
I think next season, like I said, as long as everybody like stays and nobody leaves, they're gonna be really good next year because they got that year where they've gelled together now.
Yeah.
But the women, I looked at that game Saturday. It was packed in there. It was a who's who of stars at the USC women's game, which was crazy. Vanessa was there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's been a huge supporter of USC women's basketball. None of the kids play, but the oldest daughter goes
Natalia.
to USC. Yeah, Natalia is going to USC.
The two little ones, Bianca and Capri, took a picture with Juju after the game.
Yep, I saw that. Like, she's been at a lot of USC women games this year, but it literally was like, people think the stars have been at Iowa games. Nah, it has people, which is crazy. They've been going up to Iowa. It ain't shit in Iowa. I've been there. She's boring as fuck. But the USC women's games have been amazing this season. This
Yeah.
tournament, like it's really been a who's who of stars who've showed up.
Yeah, it's been
And
pretty dope to see, like, just a lot of the celebrities and whatnot just getting out and supporting women's hoops like that. And like we always talk about, man, we like watching it because it's more fundamentally based and it looks more like what you would see, like if you and your homeboys went down to the YMCA or LA Fitness or Planet Fitness or whatever your local gym is, Park Rec Center, whatever. Like the women's game is going to more or less resemble that than the NBA game will.
which is crazy. But I like and we've talked about this before, but I'm looking at the girls or the women, the young women that are in college right now that's going to be coming out this season. That'll be coming out even next season, the season after that. Like they have some dogs that'll be coming in. Looking at LSU,
Bruh.
That's coming out this year. Then you got Flage, who's a sophomore this year, who at least
Bruh.
has one more year. Because
Yep.
I believe with women it's 3 years. I don't think it's 4.
I believe it's 3 years also.
I think it's 3.
I think they have
I
the
think
same
most of them
rule
stay
like
for
football.
Yeah, I think, but I believe
It's
most
like,
of them stay for 4.
Yeah,
For the most part.
I know it's at least 2,
But I think it's
because
4.
there was somebody who could have come out something like it, but
I think
but
ain't.
I
Yeah,
think
it might.
I think
And
you're right. I
honestly,
think it is 3.
it might be 4 because I believe Angel's a senior this year. She's not a sophomore. She's not a junior. So it might be 4.
If she's a junior, she's a redshirt junior, or she had that extra. No, you know what?
The COVID
We
year.
still got girls and guys that
We
have
definitely
COVID
got
years.
guys. That guy shit is crazy. Niggas got 6'8", where they still.
We
I'm like,
still got some that have had COVID.
these
years.
niggas are 30 years old still playing college ball. It's crazy. But on the women's side, it's gonna be the WNBA is definitely gonna be exciting. I tell any and everybody that can hear me that is listening, pay attention. That this draft in the next like 2 weeks is gonna be crazy to see where Caitlin's going, where Angel's going. Some of those girls from South Carolina, Cardoza from South Carolina. Hey Cardoza. It's definitely gonna be real interesting for real. And that's just this season. We still got the girls that are coming out next season. Again, Flage will be coming out in another
year
2
or
or 3. And LSU is gearing up. You got Haley Van Lith.
Man,
I
she gonna be Anissa Morrow. I think Anissa Morrow is eligible to come out after this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe after this year. So it's gonna be super, super interesting to watch. Like,
bro, and then you got like 2 years from now, you could have Hannah Hidalgo and Juju Watkins coming out.
Yeah, like I'm like, to be honest, it is. If you do not have a WNBA team, go grab one. Start watching, find your team. I'm an LA Sparks fan through and through, but I like the game in general. I like what a lot Vegas, amazing. New York, amazing. Indiana's about to look crazy this year because 9 times out of 10, Caitlin Clark is going number 1.
You're gonna have Caitlin Clark teaming up with what's her name from who went to South Carolina last year? Was
Aaliyah Boston.
Aaliyah Boston. And the other one, we was just talking about them last episode, the other skinny one.
Let me tell you something, bro. I hate Gil.
Skinny one.
I hate watching Gil's podcast.
You don't put Caitlin Clark with them 2 twin towers?
But you know what's crazy? This nigga Gil, I hate Gil. Because Gil has this mindset of, nigga, I'm the best on the team. Fuck y'all. Give me the ball and get the fuck out of the way. Because that's pretty much what he was saying. He was like, because they were talking about it and they were like, man, shit, you put her, like you just said, they were like, you put Caitlin with Aaliyah Boston, that shit about to go crazy. Gil was like, Aaliyah who? That was last year. We talking about this year. Give me the ball and move.
Bruh,
and I'm sitting there like everybody else is like, nah, dog, the way women's basketball is different than men's. Like, if you have a dominant big in women, you feed her the ball. Like, it's cool that you got guards, but women's ball is not the same. Men's ball, if you got a guard, it's move the fuck out the way and let him do work. In women's ball, it's the opposite. You got a dominant big, you feed that bitch to her and you get the fuck out the way. It's an women's ball is more in and out game. It's all right, I got the dominant big. Now, once I throw it down and they start double and triple teaming down, kick that bitch back out and I'm gonna
Right.
hit it. That's what's gonna
Right.
work for Indiana is Aaliyah's gonna get hers, Caitlin's gonna get hers. They got a shooting guard. Like Indiana, literally with this one pick, is gonna change their entire team. Where they went 9 and like 22 this year, they're easily positioning themselves to move up to at least third, if not second in the East.
I think they're gonna. I think
Because New
Indiana
York is still
definitely
the
makes
best
the
team in the
playoffs.
East. Yeah.
I think Indiana makes the playoffs next season because
Because
I can't see a reason why adding her to that team that they have. If they just bring back most of what they have in that main rotation, most of that top 7-8 players, and they add Caitlin Clark to that, that team should make the playoffs. I
easily.
don't see a reason why they wouldn't. It just wouldn't make sense to me unless there's some sort of total collapse or there's some sort of key injuries for extended periods of time or for God forbid for the whole season or something like that. Like outside of catastrophic injury for extended period of time, they should make the playoffs next year. Bottom line, like it's just way too much talent on that team, and it's not like you got another big. You didn't get a third big to go with the two you got. You got a wing player.
Man, they're gonna look amazing next year.
With great court
Amazing.
vision and decent size. You know what I'm saying for a wing player. That's right. I think she 6 foot. So, I mean, it's gonna be real interesting to see what they look like next year, going into next season and whatnot. And speaking of going into their next season, I'm sitting here somewhat distracted because Calvin Murphy is showing where he gets his suits and stuff from. And if you know anything about Calvin Murphy on the Rockets broadcast team, Calvin Murphy wears some wild shit. Bruh, this dude just showed there was like at least 6 or 7 suits that was like all sequins, all different colors, rainbows, color schemes, with shoes to match. Like this nigga would look like a different color or colorful disco ball, basically from head to toe. But I really think that going into next season, when you're looking at next season, just transitioning to Major League Baseball because their opening day is tomorrow. This season is going to be kind of interesting because I think in baseball, what we're starting to see is we're starting to get more of the younger people that are starting to take over the game. And I think a lot of that old guard and a lot of that old tradition and how things used to be is starting to slowly phase itself out. And you're starting to see a lot more younger push into the forefront as far as stars are concerned. I think it's Josh Chisholm used to play for the Miami team. I can't remember who he plays for now, but he gave an interview and he was talking about how there was these old vets on the team that was basically holding the younger guys down. And word to Ahunt, like Ahunt say, long story less long. Basically, what he was saying was like these older guys that don't even play and don't even really contribute to what the team is doing as far as success on the field, trying to dictate how the team should act and play and trying to be leaders on the team. When the only thing that they have that calls for them to be leaders on the team is years in the league. They're not the team's best players. They're not the team's top players. They don't even play that much. And so basically what he was saying was like, you don't even contribute to what we do. Why should we respect you just because you've been in the league this long? Like you're not helping. This guy is a young guy. He just got called up. He's a rookie. He's excited. And you yelling and fussing and screaming at him just because he's having fun? Playing a kid's game. Like, are you serious right now? And that kind of attitude and stuff and that kind of outlook, I think is good and is refreshing for baseball. and them putting in the pitch clock and stuff like that to try to speed the game up and make it faster and make it more enjoyable for younger generations. I think that that's going to do baseball some good. And I think that they need to start marketing the game and the players differently and start looking into more ways that they can make the game more fun and higher scoring and what have you. And just make it quicker, make it faster paced, do something. That pitch clock actually cut, as insignificant as it may seem, I want to say like about 10, 15 or so minutes off of average game time, which is significant when you think about a game could be 3 hours or it could be 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's a huge time difference when you think about it, because you got to think about TV time, commercials, things like that, all that kind of stuff. So I just think that baseball is trying to work itself into a position where they can market itself to the younger generations and the way people consume sports and stuff now with streaming and on the go and different things like that. And I think that they could use more of that. And I think that they need to start highlighting more of that and highlighting more of these players who appeal to a much younger audience.
Agreed.
But
I'm excited for baseball, man.
I, I,
Yankees.
I really am too, man. It's gonna be fun this year, just to watch everything grow and develop and see if some of these older guys can keep it going and see. My favorite thing about baseball season is seeing what newer, younger stars like pop up and who steps to the forefront, this year. Because which players are going to constantly be there pretty much year in and year out with baseball, because it's not like it's a physically, it's like a baseball is it's a physical sport, but it's more of a mental grind because you're playing day in and day out than a physical grind. Because a lot of these guys talk about like how mentally you have to be strong and mentally you have to be prepared and prepare yourself physically, yes, but also mentally to get over that hump of getting yourself up to play at a high level day in and day out every single day for 6 months roughly. So it's real interesting to see like the way they take care of themselves and the way that they go about preparing and everything for the grind of the season. Um, I don't think we had really anything significant in boxing or MMA like this past week.
Nah. I did get a chance to check out that Roadhouse movie yesterday
Oh yeah,
with Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal.
how was
I
it?
like I like it.
Okay.
If you've ever, for us older, if you ever watched the original Roadhouse, which I have like millions of times, millions.
Hmm.
I have stories about that with my auntie that could go for hours. But I loved it because I watched it because of her. Because Roadhouse was something that me and her loved watching together. That was her favorite movie. She loved Patrick Swayze. Anything with Patrick Swayze in it, she was watching it. So, um, watching the remake, it was kind of dope. Like it was fire. They put a different twist on it. Same premise, just with a little different. Connor being Connor, I feel like they just went in and told Connor to be himself. Like it literally was just McGregor being McGregor, and that shit was so dope. I think it was a good watch. I believe it's on. So I have a unlocked Fire Stick, so I watch everything. But I believe it's on Prime. I gotta
Hmm.
check to make sure, but it was definitely a good watch. I say if you have it, go ahead and
Right.
go watch it. It was definitely good.
Yeah,
Though I didn't go into it with like any crazy expectations or anything. So
I'm about to see if I
um
can pull it up right now. I got a few other things that I wanted to like watch and go back on and whatnot. And um it's like WrestleMania season for us
uh,
wrestling fans. So I've been doing a lot of like rewatching old stuff, and it's
That's
like
always fun.
yeah, it's NFL draft season too, so I've been doing a lot of like doing
It's a lot, man.
that.
It's NFL,
Tournament
WNBA draft,
time for
tournament.
NCAA basketball.
Oh man, y'all only knew like I get fussed at around here all day, bro. It's I I put so I'll say because I know I don't want this to get too long, but I really put so much into this during the week for this Tuesday, Wednesday night, so it's
Mhm.
like I'm watching everything to figure out. I'm watching Sports Center just to catch highlights, but I'm also watching games. I'm watching like different sports. I'm starting to pay attention to sports that I never even liked. Or
Bruh.
really, like I'm gonna be honest. I'm not. There's nothing about lacrosse that excites me. I'll finally say it. I'm gonna be honest. It's nothing. But I'll be watching because I'm like, it might be something exciting there that we need to talk about or that we need to hit on or something. But lacrosse is so boring to me. Oh my god, I try to get into it. I can't do it. I'm sorry, Dre.
Bro,
I have
it's
tried,
funny.
bro. I can't do it. And I like
Bruh.
NASCAR. That's the weird shit.
Okay, we got
But it's a lot going on right now, man.
they just announced who is this? Robert Whitaker and Chiamev are headlining the July 22nd UFC card in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna be a pretty good fight.
Yeah, they got it's some good stuff coming up. Oh yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah, I
UFC heading to
just saw it
Saudi Arabia.
on Bleacher Report
Let
popped
me
up,
tell
and
y'all
then I
something.
saw my Twitter alert right after it.
I
Like,
figured, and I think I don't know if I said this to y'all or if I said it on here, if I've said it to the fellas.
mhm.
The Crown Prince has his hands on everything right now. If
Yes.
it's combat, he's already got wrestling. Would they go to
Yep.
Saudi twice a year now? Or is it just the one
They've been
show?
twice a year for like the last, I want to
I
say
believe
6 years or so.
Yeah, like so he got them coming twice. He got WWE coming
It's like
twice
the
a year
last
now.
6-7 years.
The moment that HBO and Showtime got out of boxing,
Bruh.
he
They
jumped on
jumped.
that. He got with Dazin, or Dazin got with him. I don't know who talked to who.
But he's been trying to get more stuff there
He's been
for, I
getting
want to
big
say,
fights.
the last like 15-20 years. They've been trying to like position themselves to
And they
get more
have.
out of it.
They
And
literally this last year alone in just boxing, he's
yeah,
grabbed. So it started out where Dazin and Triller were doing like all the YouTube fights where it was like
mhm.
the social media people were fighting each other.
Right,
But then
influencers and shit like that.
they slid out of the influencer boxing and got into boxing. And ever since then, the Prince has grabbed all the big fights. I can
Yep.
say all of them. A lot of the major that heavyweight card back in December. The Prince
Now
put that got
ESPN
had that.
MMA is reporting it. Robert Whitaker will face Khamzat Chimaev in Saudi Arabia July 22nd. Yeah.
So the fact that UFC is getting in on it now is I knew it would be a matter of time before
Crazy.
Dana loves money. So if it make money, he all with it. And the Prince has been making money over there. So I love it.
I like I
Boxing
think
in general has been weird just because there's no official home. Like now Netflix is getting into boxing. Amazon Prime has a card coming up soon. Like pretty much all the streaming sites are just putting their hands in it. I'm hoping that one just pulls it all together and is like, no, we're the home of boxing now. I think
right.
Dazin has done good. It's just really hard because Dazin is pure pay-per-view, which is what boxing has always been up until like HBO, Showtime, and all of them had kind of got into it. So it's some great cards coming up in boxing. UFC has some dope cards that'll be coming up soon from
Yeah.
now to the end of the year. So combat sports is at an all-time high right now.
It's going good, and I just hope that in boxing in particular that we keep getting at least every so often they'll give us these fights and or a whole card where it's like it's some really good intriguing fights that you want to actually see, and it's some guys that's matching up with each other, that's fighting each other at the top of their game and at the top of their divisions at that time. So I just hope that they keep that up, because it we all love the us like real hardcore combat sports fans, especially boxing fans, especially if you grew up like in that 80s 90s era when you had, you know, you had heavyweights, middleweights, lightweights, like you had boxers across all divisions that were pay-per-view draws, not just good fighters. You had entertaining champions that could draw pay-per-view money. So to me, I just think that, you know, if the sport cleans itself up and they get it going, I really think that they could be back. But honestly, I think it all started really during the pandemic when it was so much was shut down. And I think it started with the UFC going over to Dubai, and that and also the Crown Prince had been already trying to get his footprint onto sports. I think he leveraged that pandemic and stuff like that in his previous relationship with WWE to help him get other relationships, and that helped kick off like Live Golf and a deeper relationship with the UFC coming over there and whatnot. And all of that kind of facilitated itself to now what we see, where they're getting boxing matches, wrestling matches, UFC. They have the golf thing going. They just paid Cristiano Ronaldo a lifetime of shitload, billions of dollars or whatever, to come over there and play soccer. Like they're always in the bid for some of the top free agents every time the transfer window opens, because these Saudi teams are willing to throw goo gobs of money at not only the players but the teams themselves just to acquire the player. So I think what they're doing is they're putting their oil money to use, and they're basically just saying, hey, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna throw money at the problem and fix it. But it's been a crazy, you know, like last few weeks in sports, period. Every time we think we ain't got nothing to talk about, we go for another 2 hours plus, damn it, 240 something right now. So
little do y'all know, if y'all saw the rundown every week, it'd be like 2 topics. And somehow we end up stretching them 2 into 2 almost 3 hours every week.
Look,
this is that. So when we first started the show, the rundown used to be like this, and we had to like condense it to like 6. That's why we came with the 6-pack.
Yes.
Now it's like, damn, we barely got 3, because it really, I mean, to be honest, it's not a whole lot going on in sports. Like, so like everything, you got stuff ending, and we're going into that period where no football, no college basketball. NBA is about to start winding down soon. You got baseball starting up tomorrow, so you'll have that. NASCAR is still going on. You'll have that. WNBA is about to start, so now you're gonna have that. But it ain't a lot. So it's like, but don't worry, because we have other shit. We gonna talk sports. Trust me. We gonna talk
topics.
We have
topics on.
And if you have a topic, also, if there's something you guys want to discuss, debate, you want to hear us debate and talk about, definitely DM us, add us on, you know, social media, and let us know, and we'll definitely put it. It might be some, like I said, we don't have a lot of topics every week, so we can always throw that in, and that could be a dope topic to talk about, just like we talked about the college, women's college, and you know, the
X-Men
parody of playing at home. Tonight. So yeah, X-Men 97. We don't just learned that
it's not an old cartoon, it's a new cartoon that looks old.
Watch, episode 3 is out.
You learn a lot of shit here.
You're lucky we ain't talk quiet on the set. God damn it, because that shit fucked my childhood.
Bruh. Okay. My assignment for next week is to watch. I think I got like the first. I know I got the first 2 episodes available. I think I got the first. It may be 3.
Apparently there's more episodes. A new one dropped.
There's more coming
today, I think.
I want to say the last time I looked, I know I had the first 2 available for me to watch.
There were 4 altogether.
I think it's the 3rd, maybe the 4th now.
That 3rd one? Whoo.
I need to watch at least the first 2 by episode 26. I'm committing myself to it. Y'all heard me say it. It's on the pod. This shit recorded. It's live. A bunch of y'all motherfuckers that been watching, participating in shit, so y'all gonna hold me accountable for this shit.
This episode is definitely pink horsepower. I'm keeping that. Shout out to Ben for that. That shit's still funny as hell. He said, "What is gel?" I'm looking right at it because I scroll back up. What is Gel Blaster? Is that like pink horsepower?
Oh, where's that fucking comment? Bro. I gotta find it.
Oh man, I wish I could pin it. If I could pin it, I would, because I'm looking right at it.
Bingo! There it is.
Nigga, that shit is. Yo, shout out. I gotta tweet that. Shout out to Vin, man.
Fucking Vin. Bruh,
I'm just trying to decide if I'm gonna at them when I say it.
Vin will find some wild shit to say. It don't matter what we talking about, where the conversation is. You can be talking about anything. Vin gonna find some wild shit to say. Love Vin. Vin a good dude.
Bro, that was hilarious.
And shout out to Vin and Sparks of Rascal Rap. Vin and Sparks got me drinking kombucha to get my stomach issues right. But I ain't gonna lie, like, if you drink it, it'll have you run into the bathroom. It's like a liquid laxative or some shit. Like, don't drink that shit unless you got a bathroom on deck, okay? It's good for you, but it's gonna make you go. Trust me. Shout out to the kombucha boys over at Rascal Rap, Vin and Sparks. But it's another episode of Sucio Sports presented by Gel Blasters. I gotta remember to point over my left shoulder.
Right. Damn.
Over there in the corner. Shout out to Gel Blasters. Shout out to Cammy at Gel Blasters specifically, man, for all.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Cammy, man.
Shout out to everybody else at the CDB Multimedia Network. To
we got 100 podcasts, man. Just look up CDB.
Dre Lax, Aim High, fucking Four Corners of Commentary, Soccer Sit Down,
Shogun
everybody,
Soccer Sit Down,
Al, Ahun, Mario Grammy winning ass. So shout out to Sloan and Doc and Tavi for having me over a couple weeks ago when I was down there in New Orleans. Like, they held me down when I didn't want to be around nobody and shit. Like,
facts.
Dope. I love them. But man, we thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for participating in shit. We'll holler at y'all next week.
You.
Peace. We out.